See if we're going up here or not. Whoop. Are we live or no? Oh, yeah, we're live, baby. Are we live right now? Why is fucking Twitch not on? Sorry about this, guys. I was on a private stream this morning. I had to reset everything to go public for community members. Settings. What am I looking for here? Maybe that'll show it. Still not showing. Hey, there we go. Okay. Just saying here, guys. Now, normally I haven't been playing any. Haven't been playing it. Catch you guys up here if you're just tuning in now. Make sure we get this and this audio up. Check 1, 2, mic check. Normally, I don't have Trump or anyone else up on the show live anymore. I'll just have the news squawker on, but because of what took place over the weekend, I think it's appropriate to kind of have this stuff on. So bear with me today. If Trump or MAGA, if they upset you or anything like that, just try to hold your tongue if you can. This is important stuff. That's the biggest part of this. Just a little bit larger. Yeah, I was live this morning, but I was on a community stream this morning. So just a few things to catch you up here. If you're a community member, you already had access to the stream this morning. I've already charted all the stuff out for you. I gave you outlooks for all the every index, and then showed you the yearly preview, that kind of stuff. What else is there to talk about at this point? I think that's it. We went over the volatility about Greenland and stuff like that in that stream. We're going to listen closely if there's anything material we need to know. I'll let the Discord know that I'm back live again. A few key points here. Until she comes on and starts chatting, I'm going to read some stuff to you. USD JPY is still relatively stable. I agree with that. I made a note of that yesterday on Twitter. USD JPY, the unwinding that trade, does not look like it's viable at this point. Besant said, what else do I have here? Treasury Secretary Bessent says that he spoke with his Japanese counterpart. He thinks Japan will announce some things to calm markets. Yeah, I don't, USD JPY has got one more face ripper in it. Let's go look at that really quick while we wait. I don't know why we're on this one right here. Hold on here, we'll look at it together. Yeah, USD, the tech trade is still viable. Trying to read some of this stuff about JPY here. Did you see the other crazy ass fake map picture? I am bullish here, by the way, if you want to know. Not bearish here, bullish for an upside move. There's another one. So he posted a fucking picture of, so that picture you have right there with the flag, there's another one, and he's got like Rubio and a bunch of other people at the desk. It was a prior meeting, and they inserted American flag over Canada, Greenland. I'll try to find it. Yeah, that's the one. That's the one right there. That one, duder. What I thought was crazy was that he posted that on his Truth Social, and the other one looks fake, but this one right here does not look as fake. I mean, it looks fake, but not as fake. What's crazy about that one is he's got Canada, Venezuela, and Greenland as American countries. I thought that shit was crazy as fuck. Yeah, Upland Group. I think it's all VIX. That was my thing yesterday on Twitter. So what I posted on Twitter last night was, this always happens on OPEX Vixpiration, like every fucking time. Every fucking Vixpiration. If you go look at every month, right? We go up. So if we go up.
Yes, I hear you. Stand by.
Surely expecting the Fed reverse repo operation.
Yeah.
16 counterparties take 3.506 billion at the Fed reverse repo operation.
Supposedly now, I'll give you guys a quick rundown of some highlights here from this morning's news. So first we've got Carolyn Levitt coming out, but then it was announced that Trump would be joining the presser. We stopped playing these pressers, but because of the weekend and the materialness of what was said over the weekend, we should probably watch this in real time. Please refrain from fucking trying to like scream at each other in the chats. If the chats get out of control, I'll just turn them off, or I'll just turn the show off and go private again. Yeah, I'll just show you what I have here. I'll just show you what it says here. I know what you're saying. I'm telling you what I'm repeating to you. I'll just post it for you here. Yeah, I don't know if participate means he's on a fucking Zoom call or if he's in person or whatever, but I'm reading to you what's been said to me. I mean, I don't know what to say to you guys. I figured I think we talked about this last week. I was like, someone asked last week, are we going to invade? What did they say? They said, are we going to do something? And I was like, not until after OPEX, closer to expiration. That's their window. I think it was either Minneapolis or Greenland or something. I'm like, it's definitely post OPEX, like into expiration. They're like, everyone was gambling that something bad was going to happen before OPEX. And I was like, no, you wait for after OPEX for the unwind. If you're going to do it, that's when you do it, is after OPEX. We're kind of like we drill into OPEX. So you can't, nothing's going to change that. People are always like, something can change that. I'm like, no, nothing can. It's their market, not yours and I. It's not our market, so. No. Chat didn't go insane here. What? Relax. What I'm saying to you is the public's chat. When we go public, people go crazy. You'll notice. You don't notice it right now because we've been up only, but every time there's fucking blood, the fucking comments and public chat go insane. You'll see it. Just wait. It doesn't take long. No, this thing about him participating, that's from like an hour ago. That's not from yesterday. That's from like an hour ago. You guys are fucking terrible. Yeah, this is gonna be a good one. I said this in the private stream earlier this morning. I want to talk to you guys about something. We always look at the world from an American perspective. We also look at the world from the comfort of our homes. We never look at the world, not we, but like 75% of you guys out there, and me, guilty of it as well. We look at things from the American perspective and not from anyone else. So bad. So the one thing I want to talk to you about here is pricing in the unrealized volatility of what took place this weekend. So it doesn't mean that you price in the doom, like we're going to price in an invasion of Greenland. You don't do that. It's not how this works. That would be the same thing as pricing in every fucking fart of a potential stagflation or recession. We don't do that. We'll price in the potential of a recession or something like that. But we don't do the whole entire thing. Now, what was said this weekend was people will be like, it's nothing. It means nothing. It does. There are consequences here. If you look at what was said this weekend from the perspective of maybe not a civilian
The
in the
S&P
US.
500 extends decline to a session low, down 1.6%.
Yeah, the Dow did not look good today. The Dow looked fucked up. No, when you look at this kind of stuff that was said over the weekend,
Russia's
right?
RIA Novosti agency quotes U.S. envoy Witkoff as saying talks with Russian envoy Dmitriev were positive.
We've already talked about. There's a whole bunch of stuff to talk about here. Like, I'm getting on tangents. Well, I told you a while ago when they bring up Greenland, or Colombia, or Mexico, or Canada, it's why. Said it to you before. Remember we had the conversation about, I think we said swingers, or opening up a relationship or an open relationship. You might not want to do it, but if your partner says something to you about doing it, they're giving you the heads up. They're introducing a topic that is not to be discussed, right? So when you hear the talk originally about Greenland, they weren't saying that to you then because it was going to happen that day, but they're saying it to you why? The topic's going to come up again, right? And they want to blunt the end of that conversation. So this conversation is now a swinger or something. Maybe your husband or your wife is now saying to you, saying something to you like, I don't know, like, I don't know. We should, I don't know what you do, but anyways, like extending that conversation. Maybe your wife's going to start cheating on you or something and you know about it. And she's like, well, I'm going out with my friends now because of that last conversation we had. And I think that's kind of where we are with Greenland. Now, what's important here, more important here is that, what's more important here is that, on a more serious tone, is that the stuff that was said this weekend has implications that you might not think are valid, and they are. You have troops being moved to Greenland right now from European nations, okay? Not just one. You've got troops from many nations. Number two, for the response to Minneapolis, you would normally see regular Army, maybe 10th Mountain, be the worst case. Regular Army, National Guard, even if it was National Guard from another state for an insurrection act type of action. But Trump, whether he's trying to poke, is bringing in the Arctic troops, the U.S. Army Arctic troops from Alaska. Now, if you think about it, Alaska is far western U.S. If a nation wanted to obscure what they're doing, they could use a feint. This happens frequently. Any military in the world that's doing a large troop movement would say something like, well, we're going to train, or we're gearing up to go over here. So you've got Alaska, and you've got Minneapolis, and then over there you've got Greenland. So it may be a feint, it may not be a feint, but when they're saying we're going to bring out the Arctic troops, there's an implication that potentially those troops are not going to Minneapolis, they're going to go to Greenland. And that opens up a Pandora's box. That Pandora's box may not impact you, but it does impact the troops from other NATO nations that are arriving in Greenland. It impacts Americans with an American passport that are living either as a civilian or as a military person in our partner nations in NATO. It brings up the idea if they become an enemy of the state, even if they're a civilian. In those situations, you also have U.S. bases in other countries. You have U.S. troops in other countries. You have U.S. equipment. There's a massive amount of U.S. military equipment to defend Europe against Russia, catches of this stuff. If you are one of those countries and this devolves, those countries are going to attempt to secure any American property in these countries. That would happen. I don't know if you know that, but that would happen. They would the militaries of those countries would also surround our bases, offer flights home for civilians or not, and military personnel. You can leave right now, drop your arms, that kind of stuff. And you would probably get about half those people some of those military personnel probably leave, or civilians would leave, and some wouldn't. But this raises a bunch of those questions about Greenland. Whether there's diplomatic negotiations going on, it would immediately trigger a bunch of stuff that people don't realize. So if you think about this, what was said over the weekend on Greenland, the seriousness of it, if you were a civilian living in Europe right now, you would probably, if I had my wife and daughters in Europe with me right now, I'd be trying to send my wife and kids home at minimum. I'd be trying to send my wife and kids home right fucking now. No matter where this goes, no matter what the outcome is, whether he reins it in, whatever, it doesn't matter. There's likely some kind of panic setting in around the world. There's likely also militaries in other countries right now that are plotting and planning to somehow stop the U.S. from doing what they're doing at their bases and outposts and stuff in their nations. We're not even talking about bond. This is the other side of it too. We got to get into the other side of this. Now, the bond market, we'll talk about that in a minute, but I want you to understand that part of this right now is that there's just regular people, whether they're military or civilians around the world, and U.S. infrastructure, storage, that kind of stuff around the world that would likely be contentious if this were to continue. And then we also have the idea of the nuclear button for tariffs or trade war with Europe if this continues with Greenland. If that is the case, I'm not on team Europe starts or stops paying or buying bonds in the U.S. and the U.S. is fucked. That's not true. Don't ever believe that. The U.S. can print money. They can print bonds and print money to pay those bonds from our own GDP, believe it or not. And we are one of the top two economic powerhouses in the fucking world. That's That's how big we are. Just from our own output, we can definitely. We would not like implode as a nation, as people are proselyting out there, like the doom and gloom that comes with all of this. Likely not real, fake. Full faith, backed security of the United States of America. We'll just print our fucking way out of it, and that sounds shocking to some of you out there, but that is true. There will be no debasement, devalue of the dollar. It's no longer the world currency, any of that other fucking nonsense. You could see an escalation, of course, with Europe not choosing not to buy U.S. bonds, but the U.S. would step in and do that themselves, as well as some other partner nations. This morning, 10 nations signed on board for the peace board, which is a fucking disaster, too. I understand the concept behind the peace board. You're ripping up the paper with NATO. Why? I don't understand all that. But at the same time, you have to remember that we're going to price in this unrealized volatility towards Greenland. I just don't think it's going to be something where our economy blows up and whatever. You have to also take into consideration when these diplomats are talking or the threats going back and forth. For that to happen, it would send the world into a recession. So these other countries would as well be not just like, hey, fuck the U.S., it would also fuck their own economies along with that. So you would need to see the entire world join in this recession for it to be the end of everything. So you'd want to see that in Europe, you'd want to see it in Asia, you'd want to see it in Australia, all of our largest partners in the world. It wouldn't just be the U.S. is fucked and everybody's going to do great. That's not how this works. And we're not there at this point, so there's no reason to get too crazy. Are they trying to put Trump on right now? They doing a Google Meet? They're going to bring up like Signal or something? It'd be kind of hilarious. Still waiting. Some other notes here from this morning. Well, the creeps at Davos, dude. Davos is creepy as fuck. There are larger problems than that. What I was just talking about. You're talking about like rearming Europe, rearming Europe in a way that they haven't been since World War I, World War II. Trying to see if there's any other things to read to you guys here. Lutnick saying we disagree with allies, but that doesn't make them not allies. I disagree. I disagree. That's not what the Europeans are saying right now. Let me see what else I see here. Yeah, it makes me wonder if France and Germany will go into an arms race of some kind. Crown, I just had 2 done. I had insurance for them. Yeah, the Davos escorts, they're gross. I used to track that shit, the escort monitor. Market's still bleeding, waiting for Trump or Carolyn to come in. This green box right here, this is where we started this morning. This was S&P opening. Down here. Yeah, I had 2 crowns done recently. They were still expensive as fuck. I had 1 crown break, or they started the process. They drilled it all up and they sealed them all. They were gonna put the caps on, and then I got busy with this shit and fucking. I had 1 crack recently. Still fine right now, but. Let me speed this up a little bit and see. Oh, fucking dude, $60 a month for fucking. Can't believe they're asking $60 a month for fucking. For YouTube TV, man. That is bullshit. I want to get long hair.
The Nasdaq 100 extends decline to a session low, down 1.8%. US stocks extend full, the Nasdaq down 2%. $639.46. Everyone's getting pretty quiet in this audience here.
Maybe she's coming out. Did I switch this over? Makes it a little bit smaller just so we can get her face in there. There we go. Man, I want to buy that so fucking bad right now. Oh, God, I want that tick right there so fucking bad. I want to buy that so bad right there. Oh. I don't think we pushed to the wall. I think we're going up here. We're right on 680. All right, set up a meet. Start instant meeting. I don't know if I can do both at the same time. I may or may not be able to. Let's see. Scott. It's got to be my camera. Like, my camera just makes my fucking... It's got to be from being wind blown. My skin doesn't look like this. It only looks like this because I'm wind blown. It's got to be because I ski a lot. Like a bunch of years ago, there's something else too. Oh, wait a minute. Let me see if he's here. Oh. Well, so like when I was young, I haven't told you guys every fucking story. When I was really young, I fell out of a car. When I was like 9 years old or something, I was about 9 years old. I was going through a rotary with my dad, and I was in his passenger seat with my father, and I didn't close the door enough. The old school cars, if you don't give it a good pull, it doesn't always latch. So I was going through a rotary. We were going pretty fast, like 20 miles an hour, maybe 15, 20, 25 miles an hour. I fell out of the car. What's going on? Can you see me?
Absolutely.
Say something. Your mic check. Yep, I gotcha.
It's cold where you are.
Dude, it's so fucking cold here, bro. It's like 5 degrees with like 20, minus 20, minus 30, minus 60. We had minus 60 when I went skiing this weekend. Minus fucking 60 at
You went
nighttime.
out and you did it.
What's that?
And you went out and you did it. You did it. You're like you're a man. You're like, so I snowblowed. That's all I had to do. I didn't, my son did most of it.
Didn't you guys get snow where you are?
Like 5 inches, which is very rare now. Like, so in the Boston area, getting snow is becoming very rare. It's bizarre, actually, when you think about it.
You don't get a lot of snow anymore, or you do?
Oh, no, for like years. So I have a snowblower, and I checked the oil, and it was all clear because guess what? I haven't used it in like 3 years. So
So I moved here, right? And I got here the last year that they had like El Nino or whatever, where it was like cold and fucking snow. And we
So
haven't
the press
had that
conference is
since.
starting now. Trump is walking onto the podium.
Oh shit!
So it looks like Trump is going to speak instead of
Oh
White
shit! I was
House
just told
President.
Trump's not going to be here. He's here now.
These are accomplishments. We have a lot of accomplishments, and as you know, this is the anniversary, first anniversary, January 20th, and it's been
Scotty, you're on your
an amazing
your
period of
video's
time.
live right
We
now
have
with Trump.
a book that I'm not going to read to you, but these are the accomplishments of what we've produced. All page after page after page, individual things. I could stand here and read it for a week and we wouldn't be finished. But we've done more than any other administration has done by far in terms of military, in terms of ending wars, in terms of completing wars. Nobody's really seen very much like it. I think it's appropriate that because Minnesota is so much in the fray, and I say to my people all the time, and they're so busy doing other things, they don't say it like they should. They're apprehending murderers and drug dealers and a lot of bad people. And
So in
these are just
Davos,
some of
Russia's
the more
Dmitriev
recent
says
ones
dialogue was constructive with the US
we
envoys,
have,
and more
I can
people
show you some
understand the
of the
fairness of the Russian position.
people. vicious, many of them murderers. These are all out of Minnesota, just Minnesota. I say, why don't you talk about that more? Because people don't know. Do you want to live with these people? International murder. These are people that are living, if they're apprehended and either put in jails in their country from where they came, and the countries respect us, and so they actually put them there. In the old days, they didn't respect our country.
I just heard my wife laugh
because
from like 2 rooms
you let
away.
them all in. If you didn't have open border policies of Biden.
I mean, we got
none
more
of this, all
illegals
the
in
things that
Texas
we-
and
all
Florida
the
than we
time
do
that
in
we spend
fucking
talking about
Minneapolis, right? Is that the
Minnesota and
hive of
everything else. Most of
illegals,
them are coming
Minneapolis?
from out of the country, and it's been caused by a previous administrator. Look at this, one after one. Boy, these are rough
Right?
characters. These are all criminal, illegal aliens that, in many cases, they're murderers, they're drug lords, drug dealers,
Minneapolis,
they're
the
mentally
hive
insane. Some
of
them
debauchery in the
who
U.S.
are
Never would have
brutal
thunk
killers,
it.
they're mentally insane. They're killers, but they're insane.
They're insane killers in Minneapolis.
These are just in Minnesota, California,
I'm sorry.
It's
I'm sorry
worse.
about the feedback, dude. It's like,
in
I have
other states, it's worse. No,
You wanna call me
Minnesota,
back?
the crime is
You okay?
incredible. The financial crimes are incredible. And the problem is
Chat in the
because of
Discord.
the
Fixed it, I fixed it. It
agitators,
was like,
and
I had the,
insurrectionists, whatever you want,
Trading
troublemakers.
trigger
but
going
they're-
in the background.
Just do the
they're
reaction to everything he
agitators
says.
and Insurrectionists. Nobody talks about the fact that $19 billion at a minimum is missing in Minnesota, given to a large degree by Somalians. They've taken it. Somalians, can you imagine? And they don't do it. A lot of very low IQ people, they don't do it.
No,
Other
people
work
talk
it
about
out.
it constantly. What are you
They
talking
get
about?
them money,
I mean,
and they go out and
because
buy
he's spending the
Mercedes
money.
Benzes, and they come from here. They have no money. They never had money. They never had a life. They never had a government. They never had a country, because there's basically no country. Somalia is not even a
They're gonna
country.
CNBC is
They don't
turning
have
away from
anything
this?
that resembles a country. And if it is a country, it's
I
considered just
think
about the
so.
worst in the world. They come here and they become
I can't believe
rich and they don't have a job.
CNBC would
I
cut
was
away
told
from
that
that. as
Ilhan
a
Omar is worth
That
$30
makes no
million.
sense.
They're cutting away from
They don't
it?
have a job.
Yeah, they just
She's
went
a
off.
crooked
Like it's
congressman.
fucking, what's her name?
So here
Who
you
sucks
another
at her
one.
job.
And I have, oh,
Kelly
by the way,
Evans.
we just took out, that's what, these
She
are
used to be
all what
good. Now
ICE
she's
is doing.
not good.
And it's a dangerous job. These are rough
Halfback trade on IWM is completing right now.
weapons. This one here is very bad.
Wow. Yeah. I mean, buying
I'm
the
going through
mooring
this because I think we have plenty
was
of time.
something that I was not
going
interested
to,
in doing
please
because no one had actually
switch
sold
to
anything.
the-
You know what I mean? Just
The only
because
thing
it
I'm
opened
sure
down.
very-
I think we get pain
Happily
for. I think we get
awaited
pain
for.
into the first week of fucking February. I think it's just like grinding sideways and
Switzerland, they don't
down,
know about
dragging
this.
asses.
Well,
They don't
it's
have this
possible,
problem. They
but
have
the
other
thing
problems,
is
but they don't have
that,
this
you know,
problem. Look,
had a massive short streak,
kill
right?
somebody.
Massive. Like one of the biggest ones.
And
we've
these are
ever
rough
seen.
people.
And,
These are not, this was all
those people
allowed
aren't
into
interested
our
in
country
getting
through
getting short
open
in front
borders,
of
the
earnings and
dumbest
stuff like that.
policies.
So it's like,
Men and women's sports is dumb.
people are super
But to me,
bullish
having an
on,
open
but
border
like they're not.
for the
They
world to
don't
come
sell.
in,
They don't sell on days like this.
drug
you know,
dealers,
so-
No.
prisoners. Venezuela, as an example, opened their prisons into the United States. That's why
The call wall
one of
is
the
open at
reasons I felt so
7,000 now
strongly
too.
against
So like
Venezuela
710 is
now.
viable.
I'm
that was
loving
like the
Venezuela.
most ridiculous
They've
thing.
been working
Like,
with us
so
so
all
well. It's
last
been
week,
so nice.
what I watched was the
And,
open beaches
an
kept going up.
unbelievably
Like,
nice
people
woman
kept
also
selling that strike on both
did a
sides,
very
like the straddles.
incredible
And I was
thing,
like,
as
wow.
you know, a few days ago.
Like, it was just so, it's the biggest thing I've
She's-
ever
we're
seen. It was
talking
the
to
biggest
her.
position I've ever seen.
Maybe we
And
can get her
so
involved in some way. I'd love to be able
the
to do
fact
that.
that the market
Maria,
is like,
maybe
you
we
know,
can
on
do that.
Friday,
But
it's
we're
like,
dealing
well,
with the
it
people
is
and the
very
president.
We
surprising.
did unwind a bunch of
But-
7,000 calls finally.
Venezuela, and we've been
We did
doing
fucking.
great.
They did
Just
like
to
they're all
inform
dead. Not
American
all of them,
headlines
but a
at the
bunch of them
We're
are
seeing a
dead.
little bit of downwards movement in the S&P 500.
It's gonna be something
Trump
where
is-
it's like we grind
as
and then
Trump
it's
is
just
currently
straight
speaking
fucking vertical
in the White House
print
press
all that
briefing.
high shit.
These are real.
Yeah, on what?
Right?
This is
Yeah.
all Minnesota. Everything.
No, on what? There's no
This is
vol.
one
I mean,
state.
like,
There's
you
no
know,
volatility. There's no hedge in the market. There's no
And these
fucking-
people are
And you know,
And
every
nobody
asshole
wants-
is looking for a dip here.
Yeah, these are
Every
all,
fucker
so
right
far,
today wants to go long. They
people that
can't.
came
They gotta
from
wait.
outside of the country.
my view, they
were
gotta wait,
allowed in
but-
by Sleepy
Oh,
Joe
I'm
Biden,
sure people
Crooked
buy
Joe
this
Biden,
one.
whichever you
You
like.
think they're already
Call
buying
him
it?
Whatever you like. They're both right. He's sleepy
I
and he's
think like
crooked.
your typical
He was the worst
person that would
president
buy,
we've ever
say,
had.
TQQQ or
And we've
something,
had some
yeah,
bad ones too.
like or Soxel or whatever
I can
every
tell you,
day.
all you have to do is
Like,
look at trade.
Soxel goes up at 9:30 to 10 o'clock
You're not
every
getting bored with this,
single
are you?
day.
Nope, you're not.
Like who doesn't like
These are
free
people
money,
that you have to
right?
see.
Yeah.
So you just
that's what I said last
Trump
week.
says
I was
oil
like, just
firms
give it,
preparing
let
massive
OPEC
investments in
happen.
Venezuela.
Let expiration happen.
And many other.
You'll get
it's
a
like I
nice
feel
dip.
so stupid for not like being part of this. Like like I should be a monkey and I should be like I still have like this like element
Gang
of prudence
member.
and stuff, and so like I
Known
don't
as
do
one
it.
of the toughest
But like
people
if I was
around.
just a robot, I'd be like every morning, 8:30
These are
a.m.
tough
I'd buy
people.
Soxel and sell it at fucking lunchtime, and I'd be like free money.
So this is what the people are trying to protect, because
He's still
all
doing
ICE
it.
wants to do is get them out of our
I
country.
told you this is gonna be like
Bring
an
them
hour and
to
a half.
prisons and jails
not
and
gonna be
mental
like-
institutions from
You think
where
he's
they
gonna
can
ramble
do
for
what
like
they
2
wanna do.
hours?
Oh,
The
it's gonna be a
Patriots,
long
they
one.
have to be abused by guys like Don Lemon, who's a loser, lightweight. I saw him the way he walked in that church. It was terrible.
Hey, what's
Yeah,
going
it's
on?
interesting.
Hey.
He was so
I'm
calm. He was
erecting
so
in
nice.
the
He
building.
was just accosted. What they
Hey.
did
Okay, thank you.
in that church was horrible yesterday. Look at this.
I
24
like the
You're on
convictions.
camera right now.
Oh, hi. Sorry.
24
I
times
like the way it
convicted.
That was great.
They're not charges,
Like how
these are
it's accomplishments.
convictions.
Uh-huh.
So he comes from outside the country. Do you think he's
You're
going
a
to be good
star.
here?
You just became a star.
I hope not,
Convicted
because I
24
was
times,
gonna
he's going to be good here, right? It doesn't work that way. This man murders one of many. One of many. All they want to do is get him out.
Dude, I can't believe he's
So
doing
we'll
this
take him out
right
of the
now.
country. And we're met with paid agitators.
I'm telling you, this is like the pregame
insurrectionists,
show.
troublemakers.
Like
They're
you got
paid.
so much on material.
You know, when
It's like-
the woman was shot, and I felt terribly about that.
How is this even taken seriously? I don't know.
understand both sides of it. But when she was shot, there was another woman.
He
who
looks
was
fresh
screaming,
today,
"Shame,
actually. Like,
shame,
you know,
shame."
he's ready to get on
So loud.
a plane. Obviously, he's
A professional
very
opera
good
singer,
at that,
she
by the
was
way.
so
Like,
loud
like when he went to
and so
what was it?
professional. She
In
wasn't a woman that
November,
was
he went
hurt,
to like
like,
a conference in
"Oh, my
Singapore,
heart's injured." She
or
was
whatever
a
that was.
professional.
I can't remember what it was.
She's
But like he looked
shame,
good.
shame.
Like
She's
he
screaming,
like and when he
shame,
goes to Saudi
shame. I
Arabia,
said,
he
"That's not a
knows
normal
how to like
person.
sleep on
That's
planes
a
and like
professional."
look decent, you know,
These are
and
professional
good speeches and
agitators
stuff
and
after,
professional people that
afterwards.
want
You
to
know,
see
I
our
would
country
be.
do bad.
I when I think about it, I feel like,
That's
oh
not
my
happening
god, I
because we
feel
have the
like so
hottest country
horrible,
anywhere
but
in the
like
world, despite
do it.
this stuff. Look at this.
I want to see if we can save this day at least.
Criminals. They're not going to be good. They're not
We
gonna
got a
be what we
new
have
market
here.
low here, so the door is open to new lows
I
tomorrow.
could do thousands.
I just
We
don't
had
know if we can
over
do it today.
3,000 in the last fairly
Just a
short
note
while.
that there is
Just
a
in
new market
Minnesota.
low from
What's the number,
pre-market
Carol?
at 5
10,000.
a.m. So the door is open for new lows,
10,000
but I don't
criminals. And
know
these
that
are
we
serious
theoretically have to do the rest of that
criminals. Now,
today.
how can a place with 10,000 criminals, how can you have a state? And yet they're fighting us. Yeah, I like that guy. Keeps nodding to me. You agree with me, I guess. I like him. I don't know who he is, but I like him. He keeps nodding. He says, "You're right."
Dude, what is this guy
Obviously, a
doing?
little on the right
What is
side
fucking
there.
Trump talking about here?
Told you, he's doing stand up. He's gonna bring the
These are
crowd in.
rough ones.
That's still like 20 minutes away. The fact that he's gonna start taking
So
questions.
this, we just took this off a stack.
Is he
We had
just
many
trying to
stacks
stop the
like this.
question taking or something?
I could go.
Do you
30
think like all the
times.
reporters are in there and they're
I'm
just like,
showing you
what the
now.
fuck is going on here?
Relations
Talking
with
about
Hezbollah,
criminals in
that's
fucking
nice.
Minneapolis. Can you just
Why do we
threaten to
allow them in our
invade
country?
Greenland?
Hmm.
That out of the way now.
I'm just looking at these charges. It's just
Don't need that anymore.
pretty incredible. Many
It's just
murders,
do an
many,
intelligent
many
briefing
murders.
live so they could
People
all
that
like,
murdered.
you know.
Maybe we'll make the next leg
Right,
down
right.
over here. What time do you think he's gonna let the
So what-
reporters ask
what
questions?
ICE does,
2:30.
and Border Patrol is
Oh my
incredible.
god, he hasn't talked about like the main things yet.
Perez
So
and
like
that
that's
group
so
is
far away.
incredible.
Right?
Mostly Hispanic, by the way. They're like 60% Hispanic.
there.
You know, they talk about Hispanic. They're mostly Hispanic, right?
And I
they're
thought we were talking about
unbelievable
Somalians.
people. And then they say, oh, we discriminate against. I love Hispanic.
I love
They are
Hispanic.
Unbelievable. Entrepreneurial. They have everything. I did great. I did the highest. Nobody ever got numbers like I got from the standpoint of being a
Yeah,
Republican.
it's like
But even the,
so
if you look
surreal.
at Texas, I won the entire border along Texas, between Texas and Mexico. It never happened before. Nobody's ever done that before. I did it as a Republican.
Here, we'll get rid of this just so you can see it on the stream.
Hispanic. And they accuse us of all sorts of things. 60% of the people we're talking about, they're the best people we have, and they're Hispanic.
Oh
Border
God,
Patrol
he's
is
like
largely
covering up for
Hispanic.
like
ICE is largely Hispanic. They're unbelievable people.
it's OEO, the
I don't know how they can take the
Hispanics.
abuse.
Fucking
They're
Christ.
taking rough. They're taking rough
What do you want?
people like this, like all of them. We have 10,000 at least. I could have done 10,000 of them. You're lucky I only did like 100.
He's like, print me up
This
a
is
bunch
just-
of these
this
wanted
isn't even the worst
posters.
of the group. They have murderers. They
paper.
have some people we can't use their picture for legal reasons, but they're up for murder in their own country.
So last weekend,
And we jeopardize their case. When we
movie
send them
night,
back, we
we
send them
watched
back, and we
like
coordinate
Office
with other
Space night.
countries. A
13-year-old
tremendous
saw it
amount
for the
of work.
first time, and I'm telling
We're
you,
all allowed in here by an
what
open
a
border
great
policy
movie
of the
that
worst
was.
president
Like,
in
you know,
Office
the
Space?
history of our country. A man that
Yes.
didn't win the
It's a great
election,
fucking
but
movie.
it turned out for the
rigged
first
election.
time, and he
Everybody
was like,
knows it
"Wow,
now.
this is such a good movie."
And by the way,
Yeah.
numbers are
'Cause it
coming
is.
out that
You know what it
show
reminds me
even
of
more.
is
We caught him.
what's the one about
So I just want you to know that it's.
fuck, it's a Matt
It's a
Damon
terrible-
movie where
terrible
like Gabriel comes back down to
Here's,
Earth and stuff,
the
and
book on accomplishments.
I can't
And
say
this
that
is
I saw
some
that,
blame,
but I
was
think
in
I have an
an-
inkling.
Dogma?
They could
you
have
ever
done
seen
some
Dogma?
damage, but you know what? I would have shown
That
them.
was, yeah.
I
Like
would've
that
gone
black
back.
comedy
Did you hear
fucking-
that?
I know, so far, if you
That was
recall.
nasty.
You remember that?
But I would
I think
not
we
have
should've
shown the
stayed
pain.
like
I would have acted like
very bad.
nothing happened as my finger fell off. That was a nasty. I think somebody did that.
No, I think we go
It was
back
him.
down again. I think we go
My
up,
man, how were you? You didn't do it.
and
I
then
know
we're
you
gonna
didn't.
go up, and then
I
we're
know
gonna
you did.
roll tomorrow,
So,
probably more. We've opened the
but here
gates
is the,
down below tomorrow. I don't think we do it right now, maybe,
Here's the
but
book. These are all.
Well, the one thing
Read a
that's,
few of the
you know,
samples.
to your point,
These are all, each line is
there's
something that-
nothing, like
Nobody
Netflix
did
doesn't move
that
the needle
before.
anymore, right? Because nobody
It's
cares.
big stuff, too.
I mean, calls that are
Look,
so
we have the
cheap,
hottest
but
country in the world.
there's no like actual like earnings event until we get to
So-
next Wednesday. So
next
it's like,
fucking, dude, it's like 26th, 27th, 28th.
We ended
This
by
is what
else will move the needle?
We were in stagflation.
Nothing.
That's a
I mean,
disaster. That's
except
far
for the
worse than
stand-up
inflation.
or whatever.
You know, we had the biggest
Last week I got
inflation
asked about
in
Meta,
the history of our
and I
country.
was
They said
like,
48 years.
it's almost near bottom. And sure enough, this morning it was
Yeah.
right
So
where
I have some thoughts on that specifically because
I know everybody's bearish on it. Everybody's
low.
loading puts on that
it's
fucking
like when
thing.
Burry's, you know, Burry's I don't know what-
economic growth.
fundamental
America's
investing
booming.
doesn't
It's
work.
booming. There are
Okay, like
thousands
it's
of
just not a
businesses
thing.
right now
So
that are
if
being
he
built.
goes out there like saying like,
Many of the
I mean,
biggest
these
factories
aren't
in the world are
treasuries
being
or
built
bonds
right
or
in
debt
America.
or something.
They're not
That's
going
where he
to
made
other
his money.
countries. They're
He
leaving
made his
other
money
countries.
on like
Fourth quarter
bank
GDP is on
swaps,
track
right?
to pass.
Okay,
perhaps
Trump
touting
not
the
that.
economy now.
Shorting Meta is
And
not
that's
bank
despite
swaps.
the fact that we
It's
had
a whole
Democrat
different
shutdown.
ballgame.
They shut
And
down our country.
you know,
And we
if
had
Meta
5%.
comes out next week
Nobody-
and says something
nobody's ever
good,
heard
which
about
they
5%.
will,
I think it
because
could be 20%.
they have a good
if we
business. I
do it
mean, we
right
can
and
all
we
agree
don't-
on that.
Every time we have good numbers,
nothing's
they
gonna
raise
happen.
interest rates.
So, you know, his long dated
In the old
puts
days, if you
are,
had good
you
numbers,
know,
they'd lower interest rates.
whatever.
They wouldn't
They
do
are
it.
whatever
Yeah,
they
they
are.
try and kill it. They always try and kill.
He's talking about the old days right now.
Over the last 20, 25 years, that's the way. In the old
You know,
days,
back in the olden
if you had
days,
good numbers, the market would go through the roof. Today, if you have good numbers, the market goes down. But by the way, we've had the best
Hold
stock
on,
market in
it's
history,
all-
the best
guy
401ks
paid
in
for
history.
it.
And
Good.
we inherited a mess. The numbers that we inherited were way up, and now we brought them, almost all of them, way down. We brought them way down. I mean, I'm not getting, maybe I have the bad public relations people, but we're not getting it across. We inherited high numbers, and we brought them way down. And look at gasoline. They have places in the country now $1.99 a gallon. $1.99, $2.30, $2.50. I guess the average now they're saying is $2.31. I mean, he was at $4.50 and $5.
We'll put out a good
periods of
a good
time.
piece this weekend about
Went back
gas, natural
to the
gas,
Trump
regular
formula, but he
gas,
didn't do it properly.
propane, all that kind of stuff.
He really went back to parts of it because you would have had $8 gasoline if he didn't. But he didn't do it properly. He had people that didn't know what they were doing. Core inflation for the last 3 months is 1.6%. 1.6. Their core inflation was so high that nobody could even calculate it. Under Biden, real incomes declined $3,000. Think of that, $3,000. That's a year. 12 months, Trump real incomes went up by $2,000 and $3,000, and even in some cases $5,000. It's a tremendous difference. Stock market has set 52 all-time record highs during the course of the 11 months, because this was done on 11 months. Now we are actually officially 12 months as of today. 52 all-time record highs. That means 401ks did great. I have people see me all the time, policemen that guard us really well, and got to know them a little bit. And they said, "Sir, you're making me look so good. My 401k is through the roof. My wife thinks I'm the greatest genius. And I'm a financial genius, like Warren Buffett." He told me that. He said, I think they have better returns than Warren Buffett right now. But he said, all my life, my wife has been criticizing me for not being smart financially. Now, all of a sudden, she loves me more.
It means that
But
sometimes
we added $9 trillion in value to retirement accounts, saving many people. I mean, they were going out of business. Think of it. We added $9 trillion of value to retirement accounts, savings accounts, and 401ks. That's during the course of 12 months. And I think it's probably 11 months because
as the month
they have it
opens,
for the
I
12,
will
they
have
have
a
it for the
topic
11.
instead of
Added
so instead of like a
$9 trillion
counter,
of
it's a heavy
value.
but
Lifted more than
we are
1.2 million
absolutely
Americans off food
following.
stamps
I'm
in
not
1
that-
year. They
I'm
would have
not
had
saying
another
it's
1.2 million.
but if I start
We would have
doing
had,
things,
welfare would have gone up. And instead of investing $18 trillion in our country, now it's probably more than that. But $18 trillion and having thousands of plants
Yeah,
being
hold on
built
one
all
second
over
here.
the country.
I'm getting
You
a
would
lot
have
of
had
blowback
thousands
from
of plants closing all over the country, and you would have had disinvestment, and you would have had welfare going way up. You know, if you look at SNAP, take a look at SNAP. What happened with that? Was it $7 billion, and it came out to over $51 billion. Nobody has ever seen anything like it. The past administration, they had no clue, or they were really bad, but they basically had no clue. But they did have a concept. I mean, they're still trying to sell the idea of men playing in women's sports. You saw that in the Supreme Court. I mean, some of those justices were fighting for them, too. They were fighting for them. But you saw that just the other day in the Supreme Court. Men playing in women's sports doesn't work. Secured a record-breaking $18 trillion in commitments for new investments.
Dude, what the
Apple,
fuck is this guy
NVIDIA,
talking about?
SoftBank, Oracle, TSMC, Johnson & Johnson, Bank, Oracle, TSMC, Johnson & Johnson, Eli Lilly and Company, Micron, AstraZeneca, General Motors, Hyundai, Ford, Honda, GE Aerospace, many, many others. I left a Ford plant a week ago in Michigan that they were going to close 2 years ago, and now they just announced that they're going 24 hours around the clock making cars. Tariffs did it. I don't know what the Supreme Court's going to do. I think it to me it reads so plainly. Couldn't be plainer.
He just went
You're
from
allowed to do a
Ford
license
to the
for tariffs.
Supreme Court and
Probably
tariffs.
less severe than what a license could be. But think of it. You're allowed to do a license, and then they have a clause at the end, something to the effect, or what is necessary, something to that effect. And what is necessary was tariffs. I don't know where there's a case even there, but we've taken in hundreds of billions of dollars, and if we lose that case, it's possible we're going to have to do the best we can in paying it back. I don't know how that's going to be done very easily without hurting a lot of people. But we're waiting for that case anxiously, and we have tremendous national security because of tariffs and tremendous income. You know, we have, and by the way, no inflation. So everyone said, oh, tariffs will cause inflation. We have no inflation. We have very, very little inflation. Biden had inflation, and he didn't do tariffs. We had a huge problem. We have a 62% reduction in our trade deficit. So if you had a 1% reduction, a normal president would have a 1%, 2% reduction. Everybody would be high-fiving.
Trump says he doesn't know what
Had
the
a
Supreme Court is going to
62%
do on
reduction. Next year
tariffs.
we won't have a trade deficit. We secured most favored nations agreements to slash drug prices by as much. To me, I think this might be the biggest thing of all. We get zero talk about it.
Is this a Zoom call or is
The New
he
York Times
actually?
had a
They're not
story way
showing
in
any of the
back
reporters
paper,
here.
Little story about it. I think it's the biggest thing there is when you talk about healthcare. Drug prices.
I wonder if
will
this
go
is a
down more
fucking
than
stream.
ever before for any country, because we were priced at such
Trump
a
says the
level that
US
we
won't
were
have a trade deficit next
subsidizing
year.
the entire world, big place in the world. We were paying 10, 12, 13 times more than other countries. 13 times more, not 13%, 13 times more. A pill that was selling in London for $10 would sell in New York for $130. It's 13 times. More than that even. But we secured most favored nations agreements to slash drug prices by as much as 300, 400, 500, and even 600%.
I can't even tell where he is. Is he
Including with
there or
Pfizer,
is he in?
AstraZeneca, Eli Lilly.
Did he actually walk out with those
Nova
reporters or no?
Nordisk, Gilead Sciences,
thought I saw him walk in,
EMD,
too.
Serenio, and many others. If you look at some of the prices that are coming down, where a price would come down $1,300 coming down to $87. Think of it. So something that was costing $1,300 is now costing $87.
This looks pretty fucking
And
bearish
fake news
here.
doesn't want to write about it. That's why I do this. I don't like to do this, to be honest with
That's
you.
no bueno.
But I do it because got to get the word out. We signed one big, beautiful bill. I call it the Great Big Beautiful Bill, delivering the largest tax cuts in history. No tax on tips, no tax on Social Security, no tax on overtime. We made interest on car loans tax deductible for U.S.-built automobiles only. So if you buy an automobile built in the United States, we're not doing it for Germany and Canada and different places. We're doing it only if it's built here. We want them to be built here. A lot of the Canadian auto plants are closing and they're moving into the United States. Same thing with Mexico, same thing with Germany, and same thing with Japan and other countries. They're moving.
This
into
isn't
the
looking
United
good
States
here.
because of
This looks
tariffs.
like
Because they don't wanna pay
exhaustion.
the
See it right
tariffs.
here?
It's too much. They can't pay the tariffs.
Failure to make a new
So they're
high.
going
What we're going to do is you're going to
nothing
see a
different than what
failure
other
here, and then we're
smart
going to
countries
blast
did.
down depths
But
of
it
hell.
works better for us under my leadership. It's not done properly, but
Target is
done
going to
properly. We
be
have-
here.
again, more plants being built than at any time in the history of our country. Passed the largest spending cuts in American history, and that was true in my first. We had a tremendous first term also. We rebuilt our military. We had one of the best.
Target
we
right
had
here.
The best economy in the history of our country, but we're blowing it away now. When this stuff starts opening up, you're not going to see anything like it probably ever again. We slashed the federal budget deficit by 27% in a single year. Think of that, 27. You could do it 2%, 1%, 0.5%, 27%. And that's with all of the things we have to do, all of the people we have to put on the payroll to get rid of people that are murderers. Again, when you see people in Minnesota that are murderers, these people are fighting to keep them there. And I say to Christie and to Tom Homan, the great people, they're working so hard. Look at the border. The border is now secure. First time, Biden said you couldn't do it. You need legislation. I had no legislation.
Just waiting for
I said,
one more
close the
failure
border.
right in here.
Within 1 month, we had almost nobody coming in. Now, for the last 8 months, nobody came into our country illegally. And I find that hard to
Fuck
believe.
did he
because
just
you'd
say?
think somebody, because it used to be millions of people just poured into our country. And the people that do that
Did you just say
are
nobody came into our
Democrat,
country illegally?
sort of aligned. So, I mean, they're not doing me any favors. We had nobody come in. We have a very
Do
strong.
people really
we have
believe
very
this
few
shit?
people coming up.
I'm
They're
sorry,
not
I don't
gonna
wanna be
make
a
the
dick or
trek
anything,
because they know
but-
they probably won't be coming in.
People
so
actually eat
it's
that
not
shit
as
up?
hard as you think. But I didn't have to go back. Remember, they said we need legislation. to
This white
close the
line
border.
right here,
We
you
had
just need to
millions
fail
of
this.
people coming in a month. We have
You just
nobody
fail that
coming
right
in.
there.
and we're getting the
Last straight
murderers
down.
out. Murderers, people from
Few more
prisons
minutes.
and jails. Many countries opened up their prisons and dropped them into the United States. Those are the people who are getting out. And we have a lot of heart. They said, you got to lighten up on this. We have a lot of heart for people. They came in illegally, but they're good people, and they're working now on farms, and they're working in luncheonettes and hotels and all. And we're looking to get the criminals out right now, the criminals. And I think it's very important. I mean, every once in a while you see a story, we take somebody. He should be out because they came in illegally. So in theory, they should be. But we're focused on the murderers, the drug dealers, the mentally insane. We have a lot of mentally insane killers. I mean, you can't even talk to them. It'd be nice if you could have a little reason, but you can't even reason. These are seriously ill people. You have a couple of countries where they were loaded up. Their mental institutions and insane asylums were loaded to the gills. They couldn't get. They're empty now. But they're filling up because we're bringing them all back. We know where they came from. And every country accepts them. You know, under Biden, they wouldn't take, they had so little respect that they'd bring them there and they wouldn't take them. They said, get the hell out of here. They would be bringing a plane in to land in a country, and they'd put 5 planes on the runway so you couldn't land the plane. So they'd come back with the people that they were bringing back. They don't do that with me. They do that with me, they have problems. They don't do it. They accept them back. They're not happy about it, but they accept them back. Cut a record number of regulations. I promised to eliminate 10 old regulations for every one new regulation. Instead, we cut 129 old regulations for each one added. Think of that. I want to do 10. In my first 4 years, I did. When we put on a new regulation, you had to cut 8. This year, I said you have to cut 10. Instead, we cut 129. So every time, so far, can't remain like that, I don't imagine. I hope I can, because we have so much wasted regulation, stupid regulations. Regulations where they go by California, which is a disaster state, with a governor that truly is doing a bad job. He's killing that state. If he ever ran the country, this country would be Venezuela very quickly. Using tariffs slash the U.S. trade deficit by an incredible 77%. The trade deficit is down, and that doesn't include the last month where we had our best month. We slashed the trade deficit by an incredible 77% in 1 year with no inflation, something that everyone said could not be done. So we had essentially no inflation. In fact, the last month we had almost no inflation. But we slashed the trade deficit by 77%. If you slashed it by 1%, that was good. Again, we did that with tariffs and intelligence. We did that with November 5th, great election. We secured historic trade deals to reduce barriers on U.S. exports with countries covering 40% of all U.S. trade. Think of that. American exports are up by more than $150 billion this year. People said, oh, we're not exporting. All we do is buy. If you keep buying, you're not going to have a country for very long. So we increased exports by more than $150 billion. Investment in American factories is up 41%. That's a record. Nobody goes 41% up. You go 2% up, 1% up. You go down by 3%. If Kamala got elected, the 41% up would be 41% down. We removed over 270,000 bureaucrats from the federal payroll. That's another thing. So we have, we announce our unemployment numbers, call it unemployment or employment. And they were very good, but we could make them great. But we've slashed tremendous numbers of people off the federal payroll. Because ultimately, if you're on the federal payroll, I mean, we have jobs where they had 10 people for every job. So we cut. Now, if you want to see some good numbers, I'll hire 1 million people. We cut millions of people off the federal payroll. I don't like doing that, but the good news, I don't feel badly because they're getting private sector jobs, and they're getting sometimes twice as much money, 3 times as much money. They're getting factory jobs. They're getting much better jobs and much higher pay. But all I have to do is say, like, what the Democrats do all the time. They hire 1 million people, and then they hire another million, another million. They load it up, and it says, oh, they only have a 3% unemployment rate. It's a fake rate. So with us, we're proud of the fact that we cut so many because, again, I don't want to cut people. But when you cut them and they go out and get a better job, I like to cut them. And sometimes they have to be forced to do that because, you know, it's like they want to stay where they are. They don't know. And then all of a sudden they end up, we have many cases, Caroline, where people
Caroline
were
is there.
devastated. They hated Trump. I got caught from my very boring federal job where they had, again, sometimes 10 people to do one job. And they were very upset. And now they ended up with a job where they get paid 3 times more money. They're ending up buying houses. It's like crazy. So they went from not liking me to liking me a lot because it's hard to get. We need people. We need people. It's one of the reasons. I mean, I want to. When you have good people in the farm or good people in hotels and everything else, we want to work with them as much as we can.
Exports have been going up
Biden,
since early
1 out of 4 jobs
23.
added was a government job. Think of that. So 25% of the jobs added. That's when you know that, that's 25% of jobs aren't real jobs. But again, I could do that. I could add 2 million jobs right now. Would have an unemployed. I could say just hire some more people. I do the opposite. I say get rid of everybody that's unnecessary because that's the way you make America great again. When you have, you know, all these jobs where people are sitting around doing nothing and they get a lot of money by the government, it's no good. But that's what the Democrats do. They show, oh, we were at 4% unemployment. That's a good number. But they just add jobs, or they wouldn't cut. They would never cut jobs. Under Trump, 100% of all new jobs created have been in the private sector. Think of that. Not 1% has gone to federal. So under Biden, 1 out of 4 was a government job. Under Trump, 100% of the new jobs created, 100% came from the private sector. That's how you make your country wealthy and strong and good. We inherited the worst border in history and turned it into the strongest border in history. Illegal crossings have plummeted to the lowest level ever recorded, down 99.999%. That means down 100%. 99.999. I want to find out who that one person is. For 8 months in a row, zero, and these are government numbers, these are not my numbers. For 8 months in a row, 0 illegal aliens were admitted to our country. 0. Nobody came in, unless they came in legally. We have a big process for having people come in legally, by the way. A lot of people are coming in legally. They have to prove they love our country. They have to prove that they're not going to need welfare. A lot of things they have to prove. For the first time in 50 years, we are now seeing reverse migration, where because we're getting all of these illegal people out. People that came in illegally, in many cases they're criminals, in many, many cases. Remember when they used to say that the people that come into our country as immigrants are very nice people, they're wonderful people, they don't commit crime. No, they make our criminals look like babies. They make our Hells Angels look like the sweetest people on earth. The Hells Angels are now considered a nice, high-quality person. I like the Hells Angels. They voted for me. They protected me, actually, believe it or not. But they make our criminals look like babies. These are some of the most vicious people anywhere in the world. They came from the Congo. The prisons, I know the Congo because I ended the war with the Congo and Rwanda. Tough group, very tough group. They came from prisons in the Congo. Some of the toughest, meanest people you'll ever meet. Thank you very much. They allowed them to come into America.
I'm unsure why he's bringing up the.
Before my election, 100% of net job creation was going to foreign migrants. Since my inauguration, 100% of the net jobs created have gone to American-born citizens. That's a big thing. In other words, we're now taking care of our people. 100% of net jobs created have gone to the American-born people. Before that, we didn't care. Designated Tren de Aragua, MS-13, and the Mexican drug cartels as foreign terrorist organizations, and we've hit them hard. You've seen what we've done on the water. We're starting to do that on land. The land is much easier, actually. Water is incredible. We did that on the water so that when you do it on the land, they don't go to the water. Nobody's going into the boat business right now, I can tell you. 97% down drugs coming in by water. Think of it, 97%. Nobody ever heard of that before, 90. They heard 2%, 1%. It went up 2%. 97, and we're looking for the 3%. Who the hell are the 3%? They're crazy. But we've taken out almost 100% of the drugs coming in by water. Now we're going to be very shortly starting drugs coming in by land. We know exactly where they're coming from. Remove
He's just
tens of
fucking
thousands
rambling
of
here,
illegal
like the
alien
shit that he's
gang
talking
members,
about.
drug
I
dealers,
don't know
murderers,
why
child
he's
predators, human traffickers,
everything he
fraudsters,
swings to. I'm looking
US
up.
stocks extend
savage
fall.
criminals
The S&P
and others.
500
Just
down
like, what is he
2%.
talking about?
from our country.
This
They're
doesn't
out.
hurt his
They're
case,
gone.
or this doesn't help
In
his
some
case
cases,
at all.
they're so dangerous that we put them in jail because we don't want to give them to their country. Their country doesn't do anything, and they end up coming back. We have some that we're just they're so bad that we don't want to really release them. We want to put them in a jail where we know they're properly ensconced. Think of that. Remove tens of thousands of illegal alien gang members, drug dealers, murderers, child predators.
Trump says we'll be
human
starting very
traffickers,
shortly
fraudsters,
drugs
and
coming in by
savage
land.
criminals. Why wouldn't you want them removed? The reason is because these are insurrectionists that are doing this work. And, you know, they're going to make mistakes sometimes. ICE is going to be too rough with somebody, or, you know, they're dealing with
So the
rough
S&P
people.
500 and
They're
Nasdaq
gonna make a
100
mistake
extend decline to
sometimes. It can
2%.
happen. We feel terribly. I felt horribly when I was told that the young woman who was had the tragedy. It's a tragedy. It's a horrible thing. Everybody would say, ICE would say the same thing. But when I learned her parents and her father in particular I hope he still is, but I don't know, was a tremendous Trump fan. He was all for Trump, loved Trump. And, you know, it's terrible. I was told that by a lot of people. They said, oh, he loves you. He was I hope he still feels that way. I don't know. It's a hard situation. But her father was a tremendous, and parents were tremendous Trump fans. It's so sad. It just happens. It's terrible. Halted all refugee admissions to the United States, including from Somalia, which is a terrible, terrible place, another dangerous place. And we also stopped the pirates because they get the same treatment as
Pirates?
the drug boats. So in Somalia, the Somalians, you know what they're good at? That's about the only thing they're good at is they're good at pirating ships at sea, big ships. So you have a huge oil tanker with millions of gallons, millions of barrels of oil. And if it gets hit by a big weapon, the whole thing blows up. And they don't want to fight because if they do, they're told by their insurance companies, do not hand over the ship. And they're not allowed to have any guns on the ship. They're literally, you have these massive ships being taken over by a Somalian small boat with a big weapon. Because if they hit the side of the ship can blow up I mean, you talk about a blow up. Bad, we've seen some bad things happen. And the insurance companies, some of these ships cost more than $1 billion to build. And the insurance companies say, look, we'd rather give them money than take a chance on $1 billion insurance policy.
Okay.
But they don't have to worry about it because we hit them the same way we hit the people with the drugs in their boat. They don't know what the hell happened. But all of a sudden, there are
One,
no
two,
pirates at
three.
sea.
We got
We
four
haven't had a
more.
boat
We got one
taken
more
in a
coming.
while.
Even if we squeeze, we're gonna get one more
Came out
low.
of Somalia, really corrupt place.
We got
It's not a
1,
country.
2,
They don't
3
have
right
government.
here.
They don't
No,
have
1,
I
2,
always hate to see this.
3,
Elon,
and then look, this is
Omar,
all.
she
This
comes
is all
from
part of one
Somalia.
trade, though.
a backward
Still got 2 more lows.
country, probably the worst country. They say it's the worst country in the world, if it's a country. I don't even think it's a country. There's no organization, no anything. They don't have police. They don't have military. They don't have anything. They just have people running around killing each other and trying to pirate ships. But she'll come here. Comes And then she wants to tell us how to run our country. The Constitution says that I am entitled to this. I can't stand her.
What the fuck is he
Terminated
talking
all
about right now?
taxpayer-funded benefits for illegal aliens and kicked 275,000 illegals off of Social Security. They were illegally getting Social Security. 275,000 people. I'm telling you, it's not that this is pleasurable, but if I were an elected president, this country was going to be destroyed quickly, very quickly.
I missed that
I
part.
think
Who the
within
fuck
a
is her?
year, if you had Kamala or a Joe type. I mean, Joe was a disaster, but if you had Kamala, he was the replacement. I was up by like 25 points on Joe.
I don't
and they
know
said,
what he's
"Hey, let's
talking
get
about." I'm
somebody
like,
else. This never happened. Well, I had so many firsts. You're leading somebody by a lot, and they say, "Oh, let's take him out. Let's put somebody." That's like I said to Dana White the other night. I said, "You know, Dana, it's like you have a fighter, two fighters. One guy is winning by a lot, and they say, "Oh, let's take this guy out. Let's put a new fighter in the ring with him." That's what happened to me.
NYMEX WTI
doing
crude
great
February
with
futures settle at
Biden.
$60.34 a barrel, up 90 cents or
All the money
1.51%.
was spent against Biden, and all of a sudden I
NYMEX
got
diesel
Kamala.
February
Everyone said,
futures
"Who the
settle
hell
at
is
around
she?"
$2.33
But
a
that
gallon.
didn't work out too well
NYMEX
for them.
gasoline February
Never
futures
happened
settle at
before.
around
We are
$1.82 a
lots
gallon.
of firsts.
And NYMEX natural gas February
Designated
futures
English
settle
as the
at
official
around
language of the United
$3.90.
States of America. We did that very powerfully. And while we're at it, we also took the Gulf of Mexico, and now it's the Gulf of America. Because we have 92% of the shoreline. It always bothered me. I'd say, you know, we have most of the shoreline. Mexico has a small percentage, talks about 8%. We have 92%. And I said, why is it the Gulf of Mexico? It should be the Gulf of America. I was going to call it the Gulf of Trump, but I thought that I would be killed if I did that. I wanted to do it. I wanted to. My people worked so hard. Sir, I don't think it'll look too good. I'm telling you, it's a good thing. And it'll be hotter than ever, I said. No, but I decided not to do that. I'm joking, you know, when I say that. I was not going to call it the Gulf of Trump. Because tomorrow it'll be, Trump wanted to call it the Gulf of Trump, but he was rebuffed by his people. My people don't rebuff me too much. The Gulf of Trump, that does have a good ring, though. Maybe we could do that. It's not too late. No, we have the Gulf of America now. It's great. It's our country is proud for the attack on Venezuela, the attack on the Iran nuclear capability, wiped it out. I mean, first administration, Soleimani, the father of the roadside bomb, al-Baghdadi, the father of ISIS, who was rebuilding ISIS. We wiped them out. Done a great job. Signed an order that will end birthright citizenship for children of illegal migrants. You know, that case is in court right now. That case was meant for the children of slaves. All you have to do is look at the years. Look at the years where the cases were filed and where the decisions were made. They were right at the end of the Civil War. They're trying to say that, you know, in China's making a big business out of that. They come to the country, they have a child, they're American citizen, they get all the benefits. It had nothing to do with that. That was for the children of slaves. And I hope the Supreme Court so rules. Designated fentanyl as a weapon of mass destruction. It is. We lost, I believe, 300,000 people this year. 300,000 people. That's like filling up one of those big football stadiums 5 times. It's not even believable. I mean, you could be in a war and you wouldn't lose that many people. So we designated fentanyl a weapon of mass destruction. Conducted numerous successful military strikes against narco-terrorists operating in our hemisphere, including the water strikes. Drugs brought in by ocean. So I told you that we're down by, I mean, close to 100%. It's hard to get somebody to pilot those boats. Very hard. They have to be people that don't watch television, don't read the news. And we just blew up their facility. They had a docking facility where the drugs were stored. And now we have a great relationship with Venezuela. We're getting along fantastically with the leadership in Venezuela, so we wouldn't have to do that. This was done before the attack. But we captured and brought to justice the outlaw dictator of Venezuela, Nicolas Maduro, who, through drugs, killed millions of people in our country. Tremendous drug dealer. Also sent millions of people into our country, including Tren de Aragua, the worst gang. They say it's the worst gang in the world. They took over parts of Colorado. They just take the apartment building. They just took it away. Just took it away like we're here. They cut the hand off one man because he called the police. Who called the police? I did.
Silver.
You took my apartment from me. Boom, no hand. This is what they sent us. Restoring law and order, new category. D.C. and Memphis, federal task forces deployed massive numbers of federal law enforcement officers and National Guard to restore safety. Crime down in D.C. is almost down to nothing. D.C. was a very, very dangerous place, and I think you probably know better than I do. I have a lot of people in the media thanked me for that, but some of them found it hard to thank me. But, you know, D.C. is now, look how beautiful. D.C. is now, you can walk right from here to a restaurant, right through the center of town. You can be with your child, with your loved one, with your lover. Your lover's not going to be killed anymore, so you can act like a real lover. But you can walk right through the middle of the town, and D.C. is beautiful again, too, you know. You notice we took all the fences down, almost all, the rest are coming down. We got the graffiti all off. National Guard's been amazing. You know, we didn't tell them to do that. That's not their job description. But they were picking up garbage and everything. They were great. And I don't know, to me, a town, it looks better when you have military people. These are big, strong guys, are bad guys. Look at them and they say, we're not going to mess around. But what they don't know is that we took over 2,000 people out, permanently out of D.C. These were career criminals. But I feel much better seeing those people there. I went in a couple of times and had dinner in D.C. I walked right down the middle of the street. I felt very safe. A year ago, I couldn't have done that. I would have been crazy to have done that. Secret Service wouldn't let me do it. They weren't thrilled anyway, I will tell you. It wasn't like they were thrilled, but we did it, and it was great. But D.C. is a great thing. We have virtually no crime in D.C. anymore. And before we did this move, we could do the same thing with Chicago. You know, we brought Chicago down 25%, even though we just had a minimal crew there. We brought Wisconsin down. We brought Minnesota down, way down, even though everything's a fight, you know, because they want to keep those people that are lying on the floor. They want to keep those people in Minnesota, but they really don't. I don't think the real people of Minnesota, it's a very corrupt place, and the elections are totally corrupt. I feel I won it all 3 times. Nobody's won that state since Richard Nixon. It's a rigged state. And the Somalians vote as one group, even if they're not citizens, and they vote as one group, and, you know, you get 600,000 votes against you. They all ought to get the hell out of here. They're bad for our country. Nationwide achieved the largest reduction in violent crime on record. So this just came out. Nationwide, over the last 11 months, achieved the largest reduction in violent crime on record, including the largest one-year drop in murders ever recorded. Almost 2,000 lives were saved. That's despite the fact that we took in criminals under the leadership of the Democrats and Joe Biden. More motor vehicle theft is down by 100,000 vehicles nationwide. That's another. Nationwide, the motor vehicle theft was out of control, and now it's very much in control. It was down by more than 100,000 vehicles to a record low. Began the process of eliminating cashless bail policies across the nation. You got to get rid of your sanctuary cities, and I hope our people know that we're not going to pay sanctuary cities. We're not going to pay them anymore. They are sanctuary for criminals. They hold criminals. We're not going to pay. They can sue us, and maybe they'll win. But we're not giving money to sanctuary cities anymore as of the beginning of the month. We began the process of eliminating the cashless bail. Well, cashless bail is where it all started. It's a disaster. And then other places. I don't know if it started in New York. I remember it starting in New York. So somebody comes in, murders somebody, and they let him out, no bail, no nothing. Basically, cashless bail means you just get the hell out. And they go outside. We have one case where a guy murders somebody, gets released, and goes out and murders somebody. 2 people in one day. No, we got to get rid of cashless bail. They got to pay, got to have bail. There's a reason for bail, long tested. Signed an executive order to bring back mental institutions and insane asylums. We're going to have to bring them back. Hate to build those suckers, but you got to get the people off the streets. You know, we used to have, when I was growing up, we had in my area in Queens, I grew up in Queens, we had a place called Creedmoor. Creedmoor, did anybody know that? Creedmoor. It was a big, I said, Mom, why are those bars on the building? I used to play Little League baseball there, at a place called Cunningham Park. Who's quite the baseball player, you wouldn't believe. But I said to my mother, Mom, she would be there, always there for me. She said, son, you could be a professional baseball player. I said, thanks, Mom. I said, why are those bars on the windows? Big building, big, powerful building. It loomed over the park, actually. She said, well, people that are very sick are in that building. I said, boy, I used to always look at that building and I'd see this big building, big tall building. It loomed over the park. It was sort of, now that I think, it was a pretty unfriendly sight. But I'll never forget, I don't know if it's still there, because they got rid of most of them, you know, the Democrats in New York, they took them down, and the people live on the streets now. That's why you have a lot of the people in California and other places, they live in the streets. They took the mental institutions down. They're expensive.
God, I'm looking at like
But I
spy
say,
calls
why
for
does that
tomorrow. They're
building have
$2.
$2?
I'm like, get the fuck out of here for
It
fucking
didn't- it
six
wasn't
eighties.
normal. You know, you're used to
$2.
looking at like a
Fuck on
window.
out of here.
But this one, you look at it, all this steel, vicious steel, tiny windows, bars all over the place. Nobody was getting out. It's called a mental institution. That was an insane asylum.
$2
Designated
calls on
Antifa as a
spy.
domestic terrorist organization. And many
Tomorrow?
others. It is.
I mean, I realize we're gonna bounce,
America is respected again on the world
but
stage.
fuck
It's
on
another
out of here with
topic.
$2 calls for
Obliterated
tomorrow.
Iran's nuclear enrichment capability, and Operation Midnight Hammer was one of the most successful anyone's ever seen. CNN fake news. I don't know where they are. CNN. Anybody from CNN here? Fake news. Nobody
Yeah,
wants to
no.
raise their hand anymore. They used to. Oh, here. Now, if you're with CNN, you don't raise your hand. But they said, well, maybe it wasn't that successful, which I really was angry because these pilots took their life in their hands. 2 o'clock in the morning with no moon, dead dark, guns shooting at them. They went in with those beautiful B-2s, and every single bomb went down an air shaft and obliterated it. And CNN came out and said, well, maybe it wasn't, by a scam writer who wrote, you know, fake stories, a lot of fake stories on other topics, right? Because when we did it, we said, that's a terrible thing. You know, the pilots came back and they said,
I don't know
we
what the
hit
fuck
everything.
he's talking about.
they did a great job. Then on top of that, we launched from a submarine about 30 Tomahawks on top of everything else. The place was obliterated. CNN said, well, maybe it wasn't that bad. Turned out it was worse than it was.
I have
You know
no
who
idea
could
what this
tell you
fucking
that?
guy's talking
The
about.
Iranians would tell
I
you that.
have no idea. Like, I keep
Because if
getting
they do
lost. Like,
anything,
he
they're gonna have to
speaks and I'm
start a
listening,
brand
and
new
then I'm like,
place.
I don't know
But
what
they
he's
did
talking
an
about.
amazing job. That was
Then he'll say something
was
like,
what we did with
her, and I'll go, who's he
Venezuela.
talking about?
Nobody's ever seen a military
He
operation
doesn't
like
say who her is, and then
ended 8
he led into some Kamala
unendable
Harris
wars
stuff.
in 10 months. These were unendable wars. Cambodia and Thailand fighting for years. Kosovo and Serbia.
Is he claiming
The Congo
he
and
stopped
Rwanda.
those wars?
Pakistan and India, they were really going at it. 8 planes shot down. They were going to go nuclear, in my opinion. The Prime Minister of Pakistan was here, and he said President Trump saved 10 million people and maybe much more than that.
God.
They're both nuclear countries. Israel and Iran. Egypt and Ethiopia were going to fight over a dam, and I got them to stop. I still got to work it out because they put a dam up in Ethiopia that stops the flow from a little river called the Nile. I always think of the Nile being in Egypt, you know, beautiful Nile with the pyramids, but they put a dam up. You know who paid for the dam? The United States of America. It's the biggest dam, I think, in the world. They put a dam up. I said, how did you let that happen? Why would we have done that? We financed it. This country would, I don't know. Maybe it was a Republican president, but I don't think it was. I think it was a Democrat. But what a terrible thing. So Egypt basically is, they don't have enough water in the Nile. And they use that for a lot of things, including entertainment and travel and tourism and everything. I mean, I don't know. They got a big dam. I got to work that one out now, too. Armenia and Azerbaijan, President Putin told me, I cannot believe you settled that war. I've been trying to settle that war for 10 years. Armenia and Azerbaijan, they were fighting it for many, many years. And I ended up getting the heads of the both countries in my office. The beautiful Oval Office, much more beautiful now than it ever was. And one sat on one side, one side of the other. He said, I've been the head of Azerbaijan for 22 years, and for 22 years, I've been killing his people. And the other gentleman, and both very good guys, said, I've been here for 7 years, and for 7 years, I've been killing his people. And they started over
I don't know what he's saying right now.
Next to each other, and by the time we ended, they were hugging each other, and it's been a great peace,
Like, these fucking reporters are going to be like, bro,
for each war.
we're not
I
here
don't
for
say that.
any
I
of
say
this.
Millions and millions of people. And don't let anyone tell you that Norway doesn't control the shots, okay? It's in Norway. Norway controls the shots. They'll say, we have nothing
Trying to buy
do
some
with it."
calls here on Spy again,
It's a
and
joke. They've lost
I
such
can't
prestige.
fucking justify it.
Got all. That's
I'm
why
looking
I
at
have such
Spy
respect
calls
Maria
for
during
tomorrow,
Washington.
like a
She
couple
said, "I don't
strikes out of
deserve the
fucking the
Nobel
money. They're like
Prize. He
$2.
does."
I'm like, I ain't
When she
fucking
got it,
buying
they
that
named-
shit. That
They
shit's gonna
said,
get
"Wow, that's
eaten
amazing. I thought
alive.
President Trump would get it." President
I
Trump
did get some
deserves it. He
silver
ended up
fucking
8
puts though.
wars.
They were cheap. I looked at gold puts.
How
Those were
nice,
fucking
right?
stupid
Good
expensive.
woman.
I did
all
get some
20
silver
living
fucking
hostages
puts for
returned to their
Friday.
families
Want to
and their
know?
remains.
75p. They were dirt
They all
cheap, so I
came
got
out. Got
those.
the 20 living
Spy, I'm
hostages. We
unwilling to
got
buy that
the
shit.
28
Gold, I'm willing to buy
hostages.
that
They have
shit.
One left. We
Um,
think we know where
Spy
it is.
calls,
Amazing.
no go.
Looked
Spy
like we
puts,
weren't gonna
no
get
go. Or
anywhere near
gold
that. Now
puts,
they've
no
got
go.
almost. And
Silver puts
more
are dirt cheap.
importantly,
They were
we
like
got
17 cents
many
or something.
more. Hundreds.
Um,
We got them all.
They
If
were
we
dirt
didn't-
fucking cheap.
if we didn't do
75p
it,
for Friday.
We wouldn't have had, most of those people would have been dead. I don't know if that's covered properly, but the 20 is great. They were the last ones. I always said the last 20 are going to be hard, but we got them. We got the last 20, and we got close to 28.
I swear he's in a
the bodies
fucking.
of the dead.
He's got to
And
be
to
in
those
some kind of a
parents, it was
trade
just
right
as
now.
important as getting their son back
We were
alive.
saying in the
They
Discord
were
earlier that he wants
almost
he wants to
even more
convert
intent in
something to
getting- they knew their
shares.
son was
That's what I'm
dead. They
assuming.
wanted to get the body
I think
out
he's
of
in a
that.
fucking trade here. I think he's
We
trying to
just
do a
created the Board
conversion
of
at
Peace,
close
which
today.
I
I'm
think
not
is,
shitting you.
Going to be amazing. I wish the United Nations could do more. I wish we didn't need a Board of Peace, but the United Nations, and with all the wars I settled, the United Nations.
All the wars
never
I
helped me in
settled.
one
This
war.
month. I'll be quiet.
I guess I'm not blaming them. I didn't call them to help, but I got.
I thought that we sold war thing was a
presidents and
joke,
prime
but
ministers
he's being
together. We
serious
knocked
on it.
heads. We got along, and they liked me. I liked them. Every single one of them nominated me for a Nobel Prize.
Oh fuck!
Every
Here
one
we
of the
go.
wars,
Nobel Peace Prize.
among many others. Nominated me for a Nobel Prize. But Putin told me, I cannot believe you got this war settled. I've worked on it for 10 years because it's his territory. Rescued 83 American hostages and citizens detained from abroad without paying a lot of money. Paid no
Brent
money.
crude futures settle at
Apprehended
$64.92 a barrel,
terrorists
up
responsible
98
for
cents
the
or
bombing
1.53%.
that claimed the lives of 13 U.S. service members in Afghanistan, the lowest point in the history of our country. That was a Biden disaster. I was getting out, but I was getting out with dignity and strength. We were the boss. Oh, we were the boss. They wouldn't do a thing against us. And this very stupid person got in, and what a shame. They should have left from Bagram, which is the big military
Should I just
base,
turn this
which has
fucking guy
hundreds
off?
of
Like,
acres
does this
around
guy
it.
matter right
Should have
now?
left from Bagram. Terminated visas of Hamas sympathizers and deported pro-jihad foreign nationals. Got NATO members to agree to raise defense spending to 5% of GDP from 2%.
This is where you say
And they
CNB
paid the
saying
5%,
Jerome
and they
Powell
didn't
could
pay
stay at the Fed
2%.
even after
And by the
being
way, I did
removed
more for
as
NATO
chair.
than
That's
any
some
other
odd
person alive
verbiage.
or dead. Nobody's done for NATO And I think for the most part they'll tell you that. I
And
think
then they
you could
changed
ask
from
the
the
Secretary General
title. Title
about
says
that.
removed,
He said it a lot. I've done more for NATO.
but
than anybody
then they
else.
go on
You
to
all
say
understand. NATO has to treat us fairly too.
whether Jerome
big
Powell
fear
will
I have
leave
with NATO
after
is
his
we
term at
spend
the helm is
tremendous
finished.
amounts of money
Removed
with
and
NATO.
finished is two
And I
different
know
way,
we'll
two
come
different
to their
way
rescue,
thing,
but
way
I
different
just
things.
really do question whether or not they'll come to ours. You know, I'm just asking. Just saying, right? You remember during the debate? Just saying. Signed $1 trillion investment in U.S. military. And next year, we hopefully will go to a 1.5 trillion. We're building battleships that are 100 times more powerful than the battleships of World War II, which are the big, beautiful, those big, beautiful things with the guns. I said, what about bringing them out of dry dock? They said, sir, what we're building will blow them away. Think of it. These ships are 100
He was supposed to
times
start
more
at 1.
powerful
It's
than the
now
battleships that
2:50.
you see
It's
on
fucking 2
Victory at
hours
Sea. Do you
later.
ever see Victory at Sea?
He's got to take up
What a
another
great
hour of airtime
thing
here
that is to
bullshitting.
watch.
I'm assuming he's going to
Renamed
leave the
the
last 20
Department of
minutes or
Defense
so,
into
30
the
minutes for
Department of
reporters.
War, which everyone loves.
This is
by the way.
very much
Signed
reminiscent
landmark
of
critical
COVID.
mineral
This is what we did
fields
during
with
COVID. We would do this for
Australia, Malaysia,
2 hours
Thailand,
at the end of the
Ukraine,
day,
Japan, and many others.
2 hours literally, and then
So
2
much
hours in the
rare
morning.
earth. It's actually not that rare. Getting it processed is rare, but there's a lot of rare earth. There's a lot of earth around, I can tell you. Withdrew from the corrupt World Health Organization where we were paying hundreds of millions of dollars a year. So we were paying $500 million a year, and China was paying $37 million a year. I said, why aren't we paying the same as China? They said, well, nobody asked. I said, China's got 1.4 billion.
Yeah, we'll go over.
people. We
What
have
we're going to do here is,
350 million.
depending upon
probably
what he
with all the
does here,
illegals, you know.
we got to watch.
China probably
I got to keep
knows
watching
more
this in
accurately.
case. If he gets
But
the reporters in here,
we
they're going to
have
go
much
fucking bananas.
Smaller in
If
terms
they're
of the
not
number of
plants, if they're
people. We
not
have a
like
much more
Trump
powerful military.
appointed
But we have much
reporters
smaller. I
getting
rebuilt
all the
military
softball
during
questions,
my
if like
first
the
term, by
legit
way.
reporters come out
And
swinging,
while
they're
they
going to
gave
come out
away
swinging,
a
guaranteed.
lot to Afghanistan.
There is no
the
fucking way
Taliban,
they're not going to go out there and risk their
which
career
was
not to
just
take those
horrible
or put those
seeing them.
questions
Every
out
year
there. So
seeing them
we'll
do
watch
that
that.
military done some
We're going to
dirty
review at some
is,
point
just
earnings
great.
today. So I know people are
But
asking
while they
about
gave,
earnings.
while Biden gave a
Um,
lot of it away, it's a
so we'll
tiny
go into
fraction
those here
compared
in
to
just
what
a
we
minute.
did. I rebuilt the military, and now we're
And we'll go over an
continuing
expectation
to
for
build it.
tomorrow. Nothing's changed here.
And,
For
bigger and better.
expectations,
We
in my
need
view at
peace
least,
through strength.
they're going to drag your ass across
But we,
concrete into the first week
withdrew
of
from the
February.
corrupt
You're going
World
to
Health
pick up your
Organization.
longs,
So,
and the
remember, we were paying
the
500
focus should be
million,
towards
they were paying
tech earnings.
37 or 39
Um,
million. And
That's
I
why
said,
I've
"How
got
come?"
puts on
So I
silver.
withdrew,
I
and
don't
they
think
called,
that
"We'll
gold
give
and
you the same
silver are going to
deal
be pumping
that they
while
had. I said,
everybody's
well, it should
focused
be
on
less than
earnings.
that.
Everyone
Because
else
if
is
they're
getting long on their
37,
favorite tickers. So
and
I was
you
going to
have
get some
3
spy
times,
calls
4
here
times the
tomorrow,
number of
but
people, even
I don't want to pay the
maybe 5
premium, the
times, I don't
$2
know.
premium. No fucking
So it
way.
should be less, but I didn't want to.
Even if we turn up, I was
And I
in some
thought
zero
about it.
dates over here.
So I could have taken
Close
500
those fucking
million
things,
to 37,
and
and everybody
then
knew it. I chose
I want
not
to buy
do it because
this,
it was
but
actually very popular when I
not
got
for the
out
price
because
to
they
play.
were
I can
terrible.
get better
So I chose
trades
not to
or
take
cheaper
that deal.
trades. I don't want to
First
take
thing
$2
Biden did is
fucking
go back
calls on
into
a
it.
one
You only
date that's
paid
going to be a
more than
0 date in
500
about an hour.
I
They're
actually
going to grind
called
those
them. I
fucking
said, you know,
things.
you can
Even
buy
if we
it
go
for
up,
less.
they're
You
going to
can
grind
make
them
a
to
deal
the
at
depths of hell.
37. There's no
So
reason to pay
I'm not going to fuck around with that.
500. They didn't care. They paid more than 500. Did you know that? They paid more than 500 million. I made a deal
Yeah, I'll
at
call,
37.
I'll
I
call
could
you
have had
involved. Just give me
37.
just give
They
me
were
2 minutes
public
here.
about
Just,
it.
I'm gonna
We'll
give you a shot
the
here in just a
same
minute.
deal that China has for 37. And they paid 500. They paid 500 million dollars. That's the way you ruin a country. And it's the same attitude that, you know, you have on everything else with these people. They were terrible. The anti-American UN Human Rights Council we ended, the UN Relief and Works Agency we ended, and the fake Paris Climate Accord, which was a ripoff of America, where we had to pay $1 trillion and they were paying nothing. China didn't kick in until 2035. We kicked in immediately. We were supposed to pay $1 trillion. Russia went to a standard of 1991, which was a dirtier standard. But we had to pay top dollar. So I terminated that. Another wreck. We ended the woke lunacy and restored common sense, abolished all discriminatory diversity, equity, and inclusion DEI policies throughout the federal government and the private sector. They're gone, everybody. They're gone. Terrible. Terminated the Green New Scam and ended the insane electric vehicle mandate. I love electric vehicles. That caused me a little problem with a man named Elon. But he understands, and he's a good guy. We get along. But I said, Elon, we can't have all electric cars. We just can't do it. I like the electric cars. I like his car. But in particular, I like his car. But we can't do that because some people don't want an electric car by 2030. And to build the power stations all over the country would have cost $4 trillion. $4 trillion. That's more than any country has. If you got China, the United States, and everyone, you couldn't do it. And it would have taken years. And yet they were supposed to be switching over.
All right, I'm gonna leave.
Electric vehicles.
I'm gonna leave.
Some people don't like electric cars. Some people want hybrids. Some people want regular gasoline-powered cars. We have more
Give me a
gasoline
second
than
here, guys.
anybody. And now with Venezuela, we have 62% of the market when you include Venezuela. So I ended the Green New Scam, and I ended the insane electric vehicle mandate. Now you can buy a gasoline-powered car, a hybrid, and you can buy a electric vehicle. I mean, if you think, if you want electric, you can buy it. Make a good deal on them right now because they made a lot of them. Permanently stopped Joe Biden's ridiculous cafe standards. That's having to do with the environment. So ridiculous.
I'm gonna move
absurd. Totally
Trump
absurd.
over here.
Tailpipe emission standard, which made you spend hundreds of thousands. It made for hundreds of thousands.
I'll leave his audio on in the
numbers,
background until these fucking reporters
cost
get a
numbers
chance to
were
ask him some
incredible,
questions.
but the consumer has to
We're
pay.
gonna look
Plus
at some
25% tariff
outlooks
on all
for the rest
foreign
of the week,
automobiles,
and we're gonna look at
and
some
100%
earnings.
tariff
We've
on
got
Chinese
Netflix
cars
after the
don't
close.
come into the country
We have
because of tariffs.
interactive
Only because of
brokers.
tariffs. We
We've
didn't have tariffs,
got
you wouldn't have any.
J and J.
Okay, we
There's a
have
couple in
now
here.
more
J and J.
car
I'm
factories
interested
being
in.
built in the United States than ever before because of tariffs.
We have Intel
They
on
take those
Thursday
tariffs
after the
away,
close.
China will eat our lunch. They'll
We'll try to get
take all
through
of our
these before
garbage.
the close today.
Now, there's another way of doing it, but it's more cumbersome, et cetera, et cetera. I don't want to scare you.
There's a
It's
few
more-
others in
much
here I
more
like too.
cumbersome, Not as
I mean,
good,
one quick second, we're going to the
not
bottom.
as good for national security.
I don't know
as
if we
this.
have
We have a perfect system right now. We're making
audio
a
output
fortune.
capture.
We've never been stronger, and I
Give me a
hope the
second here. We
Supreme
might cut off
Court
the volume for just a
does
second.
the right thing for us. Because if they don't,
You got.
it's such a problem.
You guys
It's
can
just
still hear 'em,
so-
right?
It would be so sad. We're
All right,
doing
cool.
so well because of tariffs.
If you guys can't hear him,
The
let me
people
know.
that are
So this is
heading up the
Netflix.
lawsuit, like there's a guy named Leonard Leo, who's bad guy, and people that are very China-oriented and foreign car-oriented and foreign business-oriented, but in particular China, they're suing to get rid of tariffs because they don't want tariffs, like Coke. Coke has businesses
Coke?
outside of the United States. If
Okay,
you
we're
have them
talking about
outside,
Coke now.
You don't want tariffs. But because of tariffs, they treat us well. Without tariffs, they would treat us very badly. As you saw for many years, they respect us more now than they ever have respected us by a lot. And revoked the California emissions waiver to stop San Francisco communists from regulating the automobile industry and destroying automobiles and the industry in the nation. I was with Bill Ford of Ford
Okay.
Motors. I was with all the people at General Motors.
All right, let's
the
go
other
over here and look
day,
at this.
And they are making more money
Like,
and
what does it have
building
about
more cars than they've ever.
Coke?
They are doing so good, all because of tariffs and what I've
Okay,
done.
why do I want to
And they're
see the
building their
market
plants
pop?
all in the United
right here.
States. Reopened Anwar for drilling. That's a big deal. Launched a massive Alaskan pipeline project to export natural gas to Asia. We made a deal with South Korea and with Japan that gives us money, the likes of which nobody's ever seen before. Signed executive orders to end Biden's war on coal and put, I say, clean, beautiful coal. I never say the word coal. It has to be preceded by the words clean, beautiful coal. And put miners back to work. The miners love Trump. I think I got 100% of their vote. We banned transgenders
Bearish up here,
from
you
the
see that?
military.
Big
We don't want
cross.
transgender in the military. Ordered reinstatement of patriots
That's no
expelled
bueno.
from our military with full back pay. So
That's
we had
bad, right?
some people that were terminated and they're coming back
Nice
into our
dispersion
military.
trade.
Fired the woke boards of visitors at our military service academies. The boards of visitors were run by radical left, maybe
Let's look at two
communists,
prior
maybe not, but
examples.
They were still heavily
Look at that
radical
right
left.
there.
They were bad for us. signed an
bloodbath.
executive order to
This is
remove
2022.
anti-American propaganda from federal
This is where a
museums
lot
and
of your
national parks. Required the federal employees to return to
talk
work
about,
in person or be fired. We don't want them
a
sitting
replay of
in
2022.
their home on their bed working. We want them in an office that we're paying for in
Here's another
Washington, D.C.
example
or
of a
wherever it
cross
may
that
be.
unfucked itself.
And we've largely taken care
So
of that
let's talk
mess.
about this one
That
right
was
here real quick.
crazy. I guarantee
back
you they're out on the ball
into
fields. I guarantee you they're out playing golf.
Netflix being in a bear market, you can see it right
You
here.
can't run a country.
Bigger
or a
question
company
is,
that way.
do
I think
you
it's happening
think
even so with countries and companies?
That it would be safe to go
But
long
we had
here.
so many
I
of
would
our federal
tell
workers
you
that wouldn't
no.
come into work. Signed an order banning all government censorship and restoring free speech. Made it the official
I would need
policy
to
of the United States government
see,
that there are only
you know, some like this,
two
and then
genders.
this
This
daily
was not
turd
a
coming
tough
up to say
Two
everything
genders.
is
Can
fine, and
anybody guess
Netflix
what they
probably not until June,
male
if it was even going to
and
happen.
female. I think
The other thing we need to
Democrats
look
know
at
that
here,
too, but they refuse to admit it. Ban the use of puberty blockers
the other thing we need to look
hormone
at here
injections.
is
and other chemical and surgical mutilation of children. Can you imagine saying this 15 years ago? That we banned the use of puberty blockers, hormone injections, and other chemical and surgical
Velocity?
mutilation of our children. You know, when I say it, I say, do I have to say that? I actually asked my people today, yes, sir, because people
weekly,
where the
monthly is
country
almost
went.
down to where it needs to
Banned
be.
men
Daily is as low as it needs to be.
from playing in women's sports.
Take a quick look at
Big
this.
Supreme Court case on that. I mean, I can't believe it. Some of the justices were fighting hard for men to be able to play in women's sports. A couple of them. I
We're
can't
fairly
imagine it.
close to a bottom here, it looks like.
I think anybody that rules
But
that
more
way
down
should
anticipated.
lose a lot of credibility. But we banned men from playing in women's sports. All you have to do is look at the
You can
records.
see
look
right
at
in
weightlifting
here,
records. Look at swimming records.
We
look at
still
track and field.
blasted down.
It's not fair. It's very demeaning to women.
This is January of 2022.
Banned transgender ideology and critical race
And look
theory
at this
from our
earnings
schools.
right here. The earnings
Secured
just dropped like a
Unprecedented settlements
crater.
with
35. This
Brown
was
University, Columbia University, and many other colleges, including the University of Pennsylvania, where I went, the great old Wharton School of
30%
Finance.
drop.
To restore fairness and merit, we're working with Harvard right now. They've been very anti-Semitic.
Assuming this is the
Terrible what they've
expectation
done.
here, same
We'll
playbook.
see what happens. I hear we have a deal, but who the hell knows with them? They have a lawyer that wants to show how hot he is. Ended taxpayer-funded student loan forgiveness.
that
for
right there
radical
for a
left and
trade?
Anti-American activists.
Straight
Can you
down.
believe it? Began the process of abolishing the federal Department of Education and returning education back to the states. And Linda McMahon is doing a
There's
fantastic
June for you
job.
right there.
Ended Joe Biden's weaponization of our government and removed his hand-picked radical left Marxist prosecutors from the Department of Justice, like deranged Jack Smith. He's a sick son of a bitch. They gave me the worst of the worst. And here I am.
This is the poll right
How did that
here.
happen? How did that happen? He's a sick guy, and Letitia James is sick, and Alvin Bragg is sick. They're sick people. And others. Fanny. You can't call her Fanny. She doesn't like it. She wants to be called Fawny.
This is the gap that
Bonnie
needs closed
Wells.
right here. This is where the real buyers are on this
I
one.
won. Can you imagine?
So I'll show you where
Not
this
putting
looks
somebody
like
through
here.
that. And then if I suggest that somebody may be guilty
Real
of a
buyers are here.
terrible crime. Oh, he's
2,
weaponizing
3.
government. Trump is weaponizing
2,
government.
3.
It's terrible.
There is
Can you
the
imagine?
there's the
They
capitulation
say to
stage
me,
right here.
I don't weaponize anything. But what they did to me, nobody ever went through.
So
what I
1,
went
2, and 3,
through.
right?
And here I am
And
in a place called the White House. It's a beautiful
then
place.
You're
Who would've
probably
thought,
not going to
right?
find a buyer
Signed
until somewhere
legislation
here.
to cut all taxpayer funding to
Capitulation
woke
phase.
and biased NPR and PBS, and they're sort of gone now, I guess. I heard they closed up. They were terrible. They were so unfair. They were so terrible. Officially reinstated Columbus Day. I like the name Columbus Day. The Italian people are very happy about it. Remember, when you go to the voting booths, I reinstated Columbus Day. That was an easy one. Christopher Columbus. Cut Social Security wait times by 50%, serve 65% more
There
Social
were buyers
Security
here. There were
recipients by
buyers
phone,
here. Expect buyers
and
here.
are on track to doubling the service and performance compared to the Biden administration. We're 2.5 to 3 times better and faster. Slash VA claims backlog to the lowest number ever recorded. Created Trump accounts starting with $1,000 for every newborn baby. This is something that's become so popular. And I give Mr. and Mrs. Michael Dell Computer, who put in $6.25 billion, started with nothing, and he actually invested all that money to give to kids, so that when they grow up, they have an account that might be worth a lot of money. It'll be riding with the markets, and you know they can. At 20 years old, 21 years old, they could have $100,000. They could have a lot of money. That's going to be amazing. But I give a lot of credit to Mr. and Mrs. Michael Dell. Signed AI executive order to ensure the United States dominates the future of artificial intelligence. So we're leading China. We're leading the whole world. We're producing more electricity than we ever have because I'm allowing every one of those plants to build their own electric facility. We're giving them very, very fast approvals, unlike Los Angeles with the fire. So the federal government, I want to give a lot of credit to Lee Zeldin. The hardest approval for the 20,000 houses or more that burned down in Los Angeles because they didn't have the water. They didn't allow the water to come down from the Pacific Northwest. They routed the water into the Pacific Ocean. So we had no water there. He had. I would say open up the water. Open it up to the governor, to the mayor. They didn't want to do it. They wanted to protect a tiny little fish that's, I said, how can you have a fish when you don't have any water? It was just an excuse, I guess. But it's amazing. We took 20,000 houses, and Lee Zeldin, the toughest permit is from the federal government. Within 2 weeks, every single permit.
I don't think this matters if it
given to the
squeezes.
people to build their houses. Then you have the incompetent mayor of Los Angeles. He's NATO, who decided to go to Africa during the fire. So you have this incompetent mayor, and I had it.
I want to see this lower.
When I got right after the fire, I went there. She said, "We're working on it so that we can have everybody starting to build within 2 or 3 years." Remember that? I said, "You mean 2 or 3 days?" "No, I mean 2 or 3 years." And the place went crazy. Well, they still haven't gotten their permits. But every federal permit, every single one has been given a year ago. And Lee Zeldin has done a great job. And he's done a great job in the approval of all these big plants and factories and
3 month, 3 month,
all
3
of
month.
the electricity that they're creating for themselves. I said to Zuckerberg, I said to all of them, I said to Jeff Bezos, I said to everybody. Mark Zuckerberg couldn't believe it. He said, where are we going to get all the electricity? Because you need double the electricity that the country currently makes just to fire up those big plants.
The Venezuela Assembly
said,
to
well,
immediately discuss oil
Nobody
reform.
can do that. So what we're going to do is let you make your own electricity. Nobody believed it. And I said, we're going to get you fast permits. So we get them within 2 weeks. And they're coming up with some of the most incredible electric plants you've ever seen.
So a few things here
So
about
each one of those massive buildings, AI or otherwise,
Netflix.
is
Just so you
building
can
their
see
own
here, the
electricity.
buyers
They're
are
building their own
here,
plant.
here.
And
You
it's
see them.
incredible. Many of them are under construction already.
This is where they start to buy here,
We're leading AI, and we're leading
here,
China
and
by
here.
a lot. Established a Maha Presidential Commission, banned many artificial food dyes, as you know, issued new vaccine recommendations, and created new real food pyramid. And Bobby and Dr. Oz have been incredible. Provided $12 billion in aid for American farmers. Just gave them $12 billion in aid because they got screwed by other nations. And the number of drug dealers have fallen every single month since I took office. Drug dealers are way down in the United States. And that's a small version of what's sitting right there. That's just a small version. We took a country that was dead, and it's the hottest country in the world right now. And that's after 1 year. So let's go.
Here we go.
That's a lot of people.
Time to ask reporters questions.
All right, please. Yeah, go ahead.
Thank you so much, Mr. President. I have 2 questions for you. One, Do you want
So Trump is now answering questions.
The UN?
Well, it might. I mean, the UN just hasn't been very helpful. I'm a big fan of the UN potential, but it has never lived up to its potential. The UN should have settled every one of the wars that I settled. I never went to them. I never even thought to go to them. They should be able to settle those wars. They don't. I believe you got to let the UN continue because the potential is so great.
And I wonder, you invited Lula from Brazil to be part of the Board of Peace.
I did.
What role do you
I did.
expect him to play, especially
A big role. I like him.
Venezuela?
Yeah,
And
I like
another one, because
Are you from Brazil?
Yes. The EU and Mercosur just signed a trade agreement this weekend, which is going to be the biggest trade zone, free zone in the world.
Right.
At the moment, you are talking a lot about tariffs. What is your reaction to that? So, two questions, Lula.
Well, I just think this. I think we have trade like we've never had before. We're doing better in trade than we ever have before. We're not being ripped off by every country in the world like we were before. We're doing numbers that nobody's ever thought possible. We're the richest we ever were. It's because of tariffs and the proper use of tariffs. And we're also the most secure. As an example, Iceland, without tariffs, they wouldn't even be talking to us about it. So we'll see what happens. I think it's going to work out quite well. Yeah, right behind.
Thank you, Mr. President. How would you characterize your relationship with Emmanuel Macron and Keir Starmer right now? And have you spoken to them since your Truth Social post last
No, I
night?
haven't, but I think I get along very well with them. I mean, they always treat me well. They get a little bit rough when they're, when I'm not around. But when I'm around, they treat me very nicely. And, I like both of them. They're both liberal. They've got to straighten out their countries. You can't, London is having a lot of problems. And if you look at Paris, got a lot of problems. They have two problems, immigration and energy. They got to stop with the
Just
windmills.
want to check one more thing here,
They got
guys.
to go back like UK has an unbelievable asset called the North Sea. Norway uses it, makes a fortune. They have a better section of it, and they don't do it. They could straighten out their countries, and it would be good. But I get along very
That
well.
looks fucking bullish right there.
You told Norway's prime minister.
Are you from Norway?
No.
You look like you would be from Norway. She looks like she's from Norway. Go ahead.
You told Norway's prime minister that you not winning the Nobel Peace Prize made you feel less obligated to think purely of peace.
Well, I
Why would
lost a
not-
lot of respect for Norway. And
But why
I
would not
believe,
winning
and
that
I believe
prize
very
affect-
strongly that Norway controls the Nobel Prize. But you have to understand, I settled 8 wars. I've had every one of those wars, every participant wrote, I didn't ask them to do it. They sent in strong they make recommendations for that. But I settled 8 wars. No president's probably ever settled 1 war. I don't know, think of it. I did 8. The reason I do it is because it's easy for
Jesus
me to
Christ,
do.
this guy's fucking
And
crazy.
I didn't do it for a Nobel Prize. I did it because I'm saving a lot of lives. I'm trying to settle the final one. I'm trying to do Russia-Ukraine.
Tuesday
And
close.
when Russia's ready, Ukraine's not. When Ukraine's ready, Russia's not. But they're losing 25,000 people a month on average. And I'm trying to get
Friday,
that.
1600.
No, I feel that Norway has tremendous control over who gets the Nobel Prize, despite what they say.
How far are you willing to go to acquire Greenland?
You'll find out.
Mr. President, Kevin Hassett has said that those $2,000 tariff rebate checks would be up to Congress to decide whether or not to disperse that. Do you agree with Kevin Hassett on that, or do you think you can do that unilaterally?
I don't
Trump,
think,
on lengths he'll go to acquire Greenland, says
We'll
you'll find out.
The reason we're even talking about it is that we have so much money
Something like
coming in
this,
from tariffs
blast down,
that we'll be
blast
able to
up, then
issue
blast
at least
down
a
again over here.
$2,000 dividend and also pay down debt for the country. But we'd do a $2,000 dividend to the people of our country. Would probably set a limit of, income limit where it made sense. But we will be able to make a very substantial dividend to the people of our country. I believe we can do
Check
that.
one last thing here.
Last night on Truth Social,
Trump says he doesn't think we'll have to go to Congress for tariff dividend checks.
Then rent it back was an act of great stupidity. Previously, you've backed that deal. Is it now your position that the deal should not go ahead?
I think that they, when they originally were going to do it, they were talking about doing some concept of ownership. But now they're looking to essentially just do a lease and sell it. And I'm against that. You know, it's a reasonably nothing
blood,
like
blood.
Greenland, but it's a reasonably important area of the globe. Not to anywhere near Greenland, but I think they should keep it. I don't know why they're doing it. Do they need money?
Mr. President,
14%.
with your support to the Syrian government,
Just
most
check
probably
something
you
here.
avoided another civil war and a bloodshed in Syria, especially after the fall
I
of
did
the
a good
regime.
job. I did a good job.
And the Syrian government, the last 2 weeks, had to use some force.
I'll make
to
sure that there's
implement its force on,
room for a
specific
14% down
areas.
move on
And
Well,
with
Netflix.
your-
to keep the prisoners, the terrorist
Expected
prisoners,
move on
which some
Netflix
of
is
the
only
worst in the world,
7%.
at bay. So they were able to keep
For
that tough guy. Pretty
So the
rough
7%.
resume. And he's watching.
This is Wednesday. You hit this on Wednesday. I think it's going to be somewhere. I don't think you're going to get the full 7. I think it's going to be something like this.
I presume that this is for him to raise his platform for 2028, but what do you anticipate foreign policy platform is going to be?
I don't know. I mean, I don't know that he's going to be the nominee. I know this. I had a very good relationship.
Yeah, there's
with
7%
Gavin
right there. I think that's
he
about
would
right.
Talk about it often.
You'll go
And
down here, hit the
somewhere
puts,
we just went astray.
hit
I
the
just
target,
hate the
then
way
come back up here,
California's being
murder
run.
those, and then we can
We
go down
actually
there
have
and slam
people
all this
leaving.
down here.
It's never happened before, but I hate the way it's being run. He and I had a very good relationship. Really close to the word exceptional, but now we seem not to.
Thank you, President Trump. President Trump, you spoke earlier.
Mr. President. You've been hearing from allies.
No,
Thank you.
no, above you.
Thank you so much, President Trump. Cara Castronova from Lindell TV. And you spoke earlier about the 2020 election. Now that Maduro is in U.S. custody and he was criminally charged, has any more information emerged that you could share with us
There's
regarding
this stuff up
Venezuelan
here.
election software and Venezuelan ties to tampering with the 2020 election? And would you consider speaking to Maduro personally in prison in New York to get some answers on Venezuela's involvement with the 2020 election?
No, I don't think I would be doing that.
Involvement with the 2020 election?
No, I don't think I would be doing that. I think my lawyers would be very unhappy if I did that. Yeah, they've learned some things. Please.
What happens to the tariff threat to Greenland if the Supreme Court comes out and rules against you on the tariffs? And
Well, I'll have to use something else. I mean,
are
look,
you willing to use force?
you know, take a look at the word license. Take a look at other things. I mean, we have other alternatives. But what we're doing
that
now
works.
is the best, the strongest, the fastest, the easiest, the least complicated.
Nope, let me get a new one.
Sir, if you move ahead with the Greenland-related tariffs on Europe, you secured almost $1 trillion of commitments from them to invest in the United States. Does that go kaput out the window if that happens?
I doubt it. Look, they need that agreement very badly with us. They really do. They fought very hard to get it. So I doubt that, but we'll see what happens. We have a lot of meetings scheduled on Greenland. I'm leaving tonight, as you know, for Davos. And we have a lot of meetings scheduled on Greenland.
Trump on Greenland EU tariff says doubt EU investment imperiled.
Thank you, Mr. President. Will you still go to Paris for
And
the
Trump says we have a
G7
lot of
emergency
meetings
meeting
scheduled on
as
Greenland.
offered by President Macron?
No, I wouldn't do that.
Trump says we'll have to use something else on Greenland to
Because, you
put
know,
Supreme Court rules
Emmanuel's not
against
gonna
the
be there,
administration on tariffs.
You know, there's no
And Trump says he won't
longevity
attend the
there. He's a
G7
friend of mine,
emergency
he's a nice
meeting
guy. I
in
like
Paris.
Macron, but he's not going to be there very much longer, as you know. And I think, you know, I have meetings with the people that are directly involved, not some of the people you're talking about.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Mr. President. And happy
You know, I've
New Year.
never seen this room like this. Is this a celebration of the first year? Yes. Have you ever seen it? I've never seen this many. I hope we have a very good. I hope we have a very good structural floor. You know, this used to be a swimming pool. You're sitting over a swimming pool. I could see that happen. But we need a good structure here, don't we? Huh? Yeah.
Thank you so much, Mr. President.
Just a note here that 1 in 5
Thank
minutes,
you.
Bello is
My question is
flattening
on
out.
Syria. The Kurds, as the most loyal U.S. partners, facing attacks by some Syrian elements within the Syrian government. Will you do to ensure the Kurdish rights protected and their effective forces against terrorism in Rojava, Syria continue, as the Kurdish see you as a president does not abandon his allies?
Well, I like the Kurds, but just so you understand, the Kurds were paid tremendous amounts of money, were given oil and other things. So They were doing it for themselves, more so than they were doing it for us. But we got along with the Kurds, and we are trying to protect the Kurds. That's correct.
Ahead of your speech in Davos, can you give us a preview of what we can expect as far as laying out the plans for America?
There's 75 bucks right there.
I think more than anything else, what I'm going to be speaking about is the tremendous success that we've had in 1 year. I didn't think we could do it this fast. Think of it, it's just now 12 months, and I say it often, we have the most successful country in the world. We have the hottest country anywhere in the world by far. And this country would have been absolutely stone cold dead. And I'm going to be talking about it. I'm going to be, because, a lot of them could use some of the advice as to what we did.
The only other thing I would say here is that
their energy policy, they're going to destroy themselves with what they're doing with the windmills and all the nonsense.
You'd need these to even change your perspective. You'd need to, and even then, you're still roped into
help badly. How much longer do you want to go?
Call it.
I do.
you're still roped into this 105 up here.
I have a very important call with President Erdogan, who I like a lot. All right, one or two more questions. Go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. President. During
Go ahead,
your second,
please. Go ahead.
One question about
Yes.
Trump says he'll be speaking about tremendous success the US has had at Davos.
Beginning of this about the economy, some positive economic indicators. Polling shows a majority of Americans don't feel the economy is doing well. Are you worried you're
I don't give a
making the
fuck
same
what the
mistake as President
fucking
Biden?
people feel about the economy. The economy is fine.
Look, I inherited a terrible. It's a great question because we inherited a terrible.
That's
terrible
noise. That's
mess.
bullshit. You didn't inherit a bad economy.
Between the
Economy.
border,
This
between
guy,
all
this
the
guy's been
problems, the whole
fucking office
country
for
was
like
falling
12
apart.
months.
And in 12
Maybe not 12.
months, less than 12
But
months.
the economy
in
was
12 months,
great
we have
before
the
he
strongest
came into
quarter we've
office.
ever
Economy is
had.
doing great
We
now
have
too.
prices that are
It's been
much,
doing
much
great
lower than they were
since
for the last,
early 23,
we
late
inherited
22.
very high prices. We inherited. Remember this. Inflation
Everything was fine.
Was at a historic
Everything was fine when
high.
he got in
We
office.
had never had inflation like that. They say 48 years, but whether it's 48 years or ever,
See what I got here.
we had the highest inflation, in my opinion, that we.
I can't listen to him anymore. I gotta turn him off. I can't. It's hard to mix in like the rhetoric and the stump speeches and then the facts. Like some of what he's saying is correct, but then it's based in fucked up shit. And you're just like, oh god. You just can't. You can't understand all, or there's no. It's not. It's like truth with fake. So there's a few things to look at here. Netflix. I'm open to this right here. I think they might try to slam you down here after the bell, but I like this upside move in here. And the problem in here is it just another excuse to sell? The bigger question here is, do we come up here and then they auto fucking sell you on Friday or something? So you have a little. This is good for tech. If Netflix sets the tone for all of tech, so this should be a good instigator for tech to rip here, and some excitement into the end of the week. On tech, my bigger problem here is I'm seeing this across the board on SPY, Qs, IWM, DIA. There's something coming over the weekend, and I don't know what it is. It's not Vixpiration. There's something over on Friday that over this last week for this bigger move
Trump
down.
says
I don't know if we can
Venezuelan
get this
oil will
deep,
help bring
but,
down US oil prices.
I don't know if we can get to 75 bucks. That's a big fucking move, but we did it once before in 2022. So this isn't required. It's not required that we go all the way down here. But there's something coming up over the weekend. I don't know what it is. I have no fucking idea. If you look here on, wrong screen. You look here on, one good thing here is that, so I've got us
Trump
going
says
up
we've
here.
taken 50 million barrels of oil out of Venezuela.
I've got us going up here, and then I've got us going down. Let's show it to you this way. So we hit this early right here. You see that? That's already been hit. So I've got us going up and then down. And then I've got us going fucking down. Even like this would be your Netflix uppies. But then I've got us going down again.
Trump says we'll have to see what happens with Iran.
Hold on. So I don't care if we go up here. I've got us going down, up here, down, basically. That's the basic outlook is down, down, down. Clean all this out at 670. I put this stuff back up again so you can see it. It's like even if you get like good Netflix or slam down for Netflix and then up for ERs, you still have all this here. Like this is Friday, sell it again into Monday, Tuesday. There's like, I think this is Monday. This is weekend. And I don't know if this comes sooner. I don't know if it's the weekend or if we start knocking this stuff out now. So the small account waits for this. I don't know if this happens more like this. You know, shank all that down on Netflix and then we're done. That could happen. Or if it's going to be a slow, painful fucking trip all the way down here. Like this wouldn't shock me where you get Netflix, yeah, you buy the dip on earnings and then they fade your ass again all the way down here, murder all your calls and excitement on earnings. And this is a way to fuck bulls all day long. It's not really fucking bulls, it's not really fucking a bull, it's fucking it's like you want to start. We're so close to this fucking gap. Look at that gap right there. That hasn't been closed there. That failed to close there. This has to save the market here too. You start breaking underneath this one right here. Doors open. This would be the bottom of Netflix. And this whole thing down here, like, there's a gap down here. You see the gap right there? There's the first gap right there.
Trump says taking back the Panama Canal is sort of on the table.
There's that weekend shit still there. This right here, like, opens the fucking door to new lows. Bash, bash. Like, whether you get this right now, whether we hit this right now or not, it ain't gonna fucking matter.
Trump says, I think NATO will be very happy with the Greenland outcome.
Voice news disconnected.
I gotta turn this off because there's another trade in here, but You know, if this were to not fail, we would probably hit that one right there, and then this one right here, but then go straight back down again. That still opens up more lows down here. That's that 667 stuff. This isn't an easy one to look at here. There's Friday. But you're still looking for this fucking thing over here in the next week. That's fucking vicious right there. There's Feb 30, Feb 1. There's Tuesday the 27th. There's some fucking shit coming up in here. That's the start of the trade right here. You know, not only that, but I mean, there's two. Start of the trade. Here. I mean, this is even viable right here. All that's viable down there. Like, there are problems down here. Like, we're already past that one there. I think we unlock this today. We unlock that one, and it doesn't matter what happens up here. We go right back down again. this becomes a 4-hour here. Not a 4-hour yet, but it's going to become one. That's going to become a 4-hour, unless we break above it. There's the trap. I don't know what happens over this weekend, but something happens. We're getting something fucking bad between now and next week. Something bad's happening over the weekend. I'm assuming it's going to be Minneapolis or Greenland or something like that. This should be opening the door into the close. I'm assuming Netflix will bleed after the bell, and then Netflix is going to rip. You're going to get follow through from Tech Buyer. Well, I'm assuming that it's going to be freaky after the bell, and then you're going to get excitement. We'll go up and buy a bunch of calls for tech, and then something's going to happen over this weekend. I don't know what it is. No, there is some bullishness here. If we don't hit 672.50, if we don't break through this one right here, if we can stay up here, close that gap up there, then this would turn into something more like this for 670, and then maybe putter around for the beginning of the month, and then you start getting that lift up. There is more danger even lower, though, to 662, 660. But, I mean, fuck it. If you were going to do that, I would go all the way down to 640. I mean, I would. I'd go to 640. I would hit this fucking thing, and then you wouldn't see another low for the rest of the year, in my view. But I don't know if we can get down there. We'll keep it simple for right now. And I'll tell you what, man, like, you get down deep enough and it's like, I want the correction to 640 like right fucking now. We're trading six. It's only another 300 points lower. Wait a minute. I'll tell you what, like, I know the market doesn't work like this. Like, I want down. I want big down. But this is still dragging ass in here. Do you see it? Like, it's still like dragging ass. And then they let you out over here somewhere. You're trying to buy a fuck. Oh, I don't know where that was, but. Right there. Fuck is going on here? All they gotta do is touch this fucking thing. And it opens the door. Hold on here. Jesus Christ, look at that shit. That's ridiculous right there. You see that? You could go all the way down to fucking 661 on a 3-month basis. 1-month basis, 647. So what do? You unlock the lower for later. So you're already down here. All you got to do is smash through this thing right here. All you got to do is hit this fucking thing, and even if we come back for it, you just got to tag 672.62. That's it. So what you do is you like slam down and then all the way up, and then as long as it's open, well, there's your bat wing right there, and then up. So this fucker goes down into the close. This is Wednesday, 9 a.m. or something. More vertical down, 1600. We get above this one here, I believe. 685, yep. We'll hit this one right here. Hit that one right there. And then some kind of down. I think it's down fucking here, but you're surely gonna hit. You're surely gonna hit buyers in here. These fuckers are gonna come out to play at 688. Ramp. There's the half-hour trigger right there. This park's a little bit higher. It's like right here. Maybe as deep as that. $660 on the nice round number. $660 in here for in a month. Right fucking there. You see it? Here's the peak right here. Another bear flag right here. Open the door, back up again, bam. That's expectations right there. I'm open to another outcome, but the other outcome you would still need to see. You would need to see something like this. We could start talking about getting long in here, but without that first up, the answer is fuck you, no. Just another excuse to get short. They're definitely going to take this shot at this. They're gonna take the shot here. They're gonna take the shot here. They're gonna take the shot here, and they're gonna come right back in on any attempt up here. They're gonna try to sell that down. I would assume it's not assume, but what it looks like price action is Tuesday of next week, maybe Monday, Tuesday, somewhere in there. They're going to come back in as sellers again. They're going to hit this, open the door, come back in for Monday to be sellers again for a new weekly round of puts. And they're going to try to take this down to, I would assume, 670. So maybe it's like blast it down, bring it back up for 670 into new month flows, and then we'll walk the plank or make the decision to go down. I think it's up, but I do have us trading from here. If you're just watching the show for the first time, I do have us trading. I do have a bit larger move to 7 right there. New all-time high of this. So you don't have to be too panicky in here. Like if you're buying calls here, you're probably pretty good. Buying calls down here, pretty good. We're getting close. We're real close to longing for that Feb OPEX, March OPEX, this up move. Now I know that these guys, what they want to do is get us breaking trend, but I don't think they have it just yet. I would need to see us breaking trend into, like, if you're gonna break trend and start rolling this market down, you kind of need to be like down here. You need to be down here into Feb 1. Give me like down here. That's where you need to be. If we were gonna start selling this fucker into, like, if Jan is top, that's it. I want to see something like this. I can show you an example of this, but like 2022 is kind of like that. 2022, just to show you what it looks like if it does go like that. Right in here, just so you can see it. So here's January, right? This is kind of where we are, right? Kind of like right down in here. You'd need to see a fucking bloodbath, like shank. We'd know at that point that the gig is up. Trend has been broken, starting a new down trend. But you kind of need to break that trend, is my point, so you can see it. You need to see that break of trend. We still haven't seen that yet. So I'm not giving up on the bulls just yet. Let's go back over here. It would look something like this. If you wanted to be like, up, good night, bulls, it would be something like shank it down here in February. Like, we're blooding, you know? And then you'd, of course, blast down, give the bulls a chance or two to get out. We're not there right now, so the bulls are going to be buyers. They're going to be buyers right here, and they're going to be buyers right here. You really need like something. You need something really fucking bad. Man, this looks bad, but it ain't that bad. Like, you need like something more material than just their bad earnings from Netflix, in my view. And this should get the new low for the new low for Netflix, wherever that may be. Whether that's like $75, $80 on Netflix, you should be able to see that down here. But this looks like just another chance to. Let me see if I can show it to you a different way. Hold on here. Our new price and scale, maybe? Okay, so this might help. Can I move this? No. Why can't I move this? The fuck? Oh, this sucks so bad. You know, so this kind of shows that idea. This is Netflix. So you kind of get like the push down, then this rip higher and Netflix. And you can kind of see it. Just I don't know if you can see it over here, but where the first drop was on Netflix. And then you get the plunge. Yeah, I think I got this right. I think I got this right. I kind of have this. I kind of think I have this right. But this looks right. The quick plunge in Netflix, back up here again. Then you get the real plunge in Netflix. And there's your Feb dip buy. We're fairly close to a bottom here, gang. Maybe a quick spike after the bell. Quick spike down after the bell, back up, new low. This opened the door. Start of next week is going to be bearish in my view. Bearish at the top, send it down again. And of course, rotate into tech. Look at Apple's taking a dive right now. You see that shit? Apple's nose diving right now, trading 244.09. They have a target of 220. They're in the same setup right now. Here, let me go down here. So here's Apple right now. You know, Apple's the same fucking setup. Plunge, down again. This is next week, down, and then big dip buy in here. Man, I want to buy a bunch of fucking tech here. Pretty badly. This whole trade here, this is Apple. This whole trade here starts right in here somewhere. It starts right here, 225.93. This whole trade like starts right here. That's Apple. Sorry for the fucked up looking letters. Oh man, I want to buy so bad. Down like this, and then up. There's the 28th, 29th. It's the same shit. And this is like accounting for Netflix potential going up, even though it's still going down. The only other outcome I could see here would be if they sped run this, we blast down on Netflix earnings, and then it's just a matter of buying the fucking dip. It's the only other outcome I can see. And that would complete this entire trade right here. Now, what they're trying to say here is that what they're trying to say is that we're going to do something like this down in here, which is possible. A bigger move down here for like April, May. I still don't see this as being. There's your last one right there. And look at that fucking thing right there. Still no buyers. That is one of the largest Apple drops in a very long time. And look at this Apple here. I mean, this fucking thing, they're still holding Apple. On higher frames, they're still holding it. No one's selling Apple. Last time this happened, let's see what happened. And I've got some good news here for you. I'll show you this in a minute, but this signaled a pretty big fucking drop here. This one did not, but it still worked itself out. This is 0708, one of the biggest collapses since 2007, 2008. We also see stuff like that in 1999, 1997. Just to give you a little bit of an idea here. So while the greater market was going higher, so like S&P 500 was mooning already. This is the trade for this year, by the way. So do you see how like in 97, this is 96, right? This is 98 right here, right? You see how like Apple gets destroyed? SPY didn't get destroyed in here. Like SPY went like up and sideways. But then at the last possible fucking moment, Apple goes fucking moon. Does that make any sense to you? No? Here, let me show it to you a better way. Show it to you this way. Let me show you what I'm talking about here. This is why you can't. That's why it's hard to like people people have a hard time do you see this here? So do you see how Apple, see how like greater market goes up? This is SPX. This is Apple. So you have broadening of the market, and S&P 500, SPX are fine, and everyone sees Apple back then in the 90s get annihilated. And it's like a false, I don't know if it's it's a false signal for a crash. So people have asked, like, what do I think? Where do I think we are last year? I said, we're in 96. And then say, what do you think we're at right now? I'm like, probably the end and start of 97. So if you're looking here at 97, what looks like shit is Apple, of course, right? And so you get all the doom and gloomers, and they're like, oh my God, the stock market's going to crash. What really happens is you get a pullback here in June, July, and then it ramps while Apple kind of fucking doesn't do a goddamn thing. Now, Apple does do a thing at the end of the year. This is a good way to describe how to look at this year. If you want to see what this looks like here. And actually, the all-time highs are made in March or February 12th, and on SPX, the newest highs were February 12th, March 7th. We actually recover in moon. And then the roll that takes place into spring does not give back any of this prior year. Do you see that? That's 640 on SPX. Now, Apple would languish. Isn't that fucking wild? And then not ramp until the end. Now, I think this can be a little bit compressed. It'll either be end of 27 or 28. You should see that fucking Rampo-Rama in here. I don't know if we can get it into like 2930 if there's a war and shit, but this is a prime example of watching, let's say, Apple lagging or dogging or whatever. So let me just show you this really quick. I like the time frame. I should rephrase that. Here, let me go to let me get rid of this. Sorry, let me get rid of this. Let's see how Apple just kind of languishes, and you're seeing the same shit right now. Down. So this is Apple. And like Apple just fucking literally dogging this shit before a super fucking ramp makes sense. So, if you're like, oh my God, Apple, oh my God, but you get the broadening of the market, it ain't gonna fucking matter. It ain't gonna fucking matter. It's gonna fucking, you can see it right here. It's gonna fucking moon. Somewhere up in here, it's gonna fucking moon. It's gonna dog, and then it's gonna moon. So it's gonna fucking moon in a big ass way. It's going moonshot. I think that the way looking at that Apple is, let's see what Netflix is doing. Fuck, we're in the wrong. We're in a blank chart here. I would not be looking at tech as your savior, is my point. Let's watch this closely. A little bit more blood after the bell. I'm not like, go back over here. We'll leave Netflix open to the down here. We'll go to a 1 minute. Look at that blood. Shankaroos. Just so you can see it right there. Netflix being shanked right now, following path down to 85.01. Better bot to buy on Lowe's. No. It's a hard thing to describe to people that you can see tech languish, go into a languish phase, but yet the market stays up and goes up, and then they catch up at the end. And I want to say it out there to you that it's not that it has to be exactly the same as that, but it's glaring. It's glaring how in the mid to late 90s, how many like tech stocks, like this is my baby over here. And I think I described this last week or the week before. I think I brought this up twice now. It reminds me a lot of Tesla, where Tesla had its first ramp up, and then when it started to bleed down, it languished, and everyone was rich, and I was rich, and you're like buying fucking leaps, and your leaps are getting annihilated, almost to the point where you want to close them and close them down. And you're so angry. If anyone was never in that trade, it was like, I want to say it was 2018 or 19, somewhere in there. I was on fucking Wall Street Bets the morning that Elon came into the sub. I was there. I was awake and in the sub when he came in. It was over either Labor Day or Memorial Day. I can't remember. It was like 4 o'clock in the fucking morning, and he came into the sub. Anybody knows this story? I don't know if you do or don't. But at that time period, like calls or Tesla was like promise. Nothing happened. Then eventually it ran. Everybody got rich. Everybody. Any of the famous people you know today, like those people were all like nobodies back then hanging out there. Got ramped up, and then it fucking languished again. And when it languished, it was fucking brutal. Everybody was bulled up on Tesla. And it was a fucking nightmare. It was a pure fucking nightmare. So I wouldn't be shocked to see that continuation or that kind of thing like we did in the 96, 97, where you're going to be dooming about like Apple or Amazon or whatever, Nvidia, anything TMT, Google, Microsoft, but you're gonna get a payout. It's just a matter of time. And this is my only disagreement with like Mike Burry's, all your super bears. Is I'm like, these fucking guys are looking at tech being annihilated, and they're not looking at the rest of the fucking market being bought. And they're gonna get a spike up their asses when we come into the middle part of the year and the end of the year. You would expect that fucking ramp if the bubble's going to continue. So I don't see like the dispersion of tech as being anything abnormal in a bubble. I think it's the norm to do. So, oh God, look at that. Netflix bleeding still right now. Netflix trading down to almost 82 to the 1 month target of 82.89. Very close to being there right now. So that's my only takeaway on this like tech thing is it like a year or two ago, I don't know if it was a year ago or something, or maybe it was last summer. It was last summer, I think. We're coming into the last fall, right? This is actually like we have expansion in markets. I would say that last summer reminds me a lot, if that continues, right? That expansion of that trade continues. There were traders last summer that were getting annihilated in tech, and then they got annihilated in crypto, and they all swarmed to this show, and they were like, "It's all gonna crash, bro." So as they're screaming because they're getting annihilated, SPX and Qs, well, not Qs as much, but a little bit more reined in. And that's actually a fair point for the rip that should come in Qs is how subdued it's been last year, and that it should be this year too. But the bigger point here is that SPY and SPX did not go down. As a matter of fact, SPX and SPY went up in that time period. But you're being bombarded by people that are getting annihilated elsewhere, and so they correlate the two. And there is no correlation in those two if you stay in the bubble. There's zero, or historically there's zero. So you'll get like a lot of like, I only trade this, I only trade that. Oh my God, why am I languishing down here? And then when it rips, they're going to be out. They're going to be on the crash trade. Oh my God, my stock isn't doing it. I'm going to go fucking hedge the market big time. I'm all in, fucking crash this year. And then they just rip your fucking face off. You're on the wrong side of the trade again. Apple goes mooning, TMT goes mooning. And by the time you're fucking, picking up the pieces, oh my God, I'm hedged for a major market crash. And then you're trying to get long, and you're going to be come to this show and say, I'm so fucking bullish, bro, on Apple and all these other things. They're going to fucking sell on you again at that top, whenever that is. Start at 27, 28, 29. If there's some kind of resolution to what goes on with China and the rest of the world and that kind of stuff. So I would pay attention to like Amazon, Apple, any of the real winners in the first internet revolution or whatever, or internet pricing in the internet. All those fucking stocks didn't do a goddamn thing this year. In that time period, like 96, 97, they didn't do a fucking thing. And then out of nowhere, they just went fucking literally vertical. I mean, straight up, like fucking vertical. 2, 3, 4, 5% a day. It was fucking stupid. So, try, if you had a top line, something top line to say, it would be, do not fucking correlate. Like anyone that says you need TMT to go up, that's false. That's fucking false. This market is way bigger than just TMT. There are less stocks than there was back then, publicly traded companies, but still, don't think that you can't disperse TMT and have the market start ramping up. Not only that, if you have TMT stocks like Apple bottoming here, whether that takes 1 to 3 months, that doesn't mean the market goes down either. If we're rotating into other sectors, S&P is going up, and you're pinning in just this TMT in this sideways range, that doesn't correlate to SPY crashing. So just be careful this year. Be careful with the fucking be careful with the market's going to crash shit because of TMT. I know if you're like looking at Netflix, you're looking at Meta, you're looking at Apple, you're like, oh, the whole market's going to crash, and it isn't. Like this should, like, those stocks should start bottoming. And if you have broadening of market, the indexes should, trade sideways and up, right? Any like kind of like seasonal weakness in SPX and SPY, all that shit should get bought, and then your big Apple, your big tech companies should start following suit. And then by the end of the year, it's going to be a face ripper. I mean, it really is. If you think about how long you can keep this market down for, think of it like 2022, but not as brutal. That's a better way to look. I think I've said that before. Excuse me. Is that it's 2022, but not quite what you think it is. And I don't see SPY price action being close to October of 2022. I don't see that this year. I think it's more like more sideways-ish on indexes, and then a nice dump for like 644 in the spring, and then SPY should start fucking mooning. I'm not on that trade with those guys, man. Every time I see this shit right here, like, I can't believe you can be that fucking bearish on the market whole when you see TMT is like almost at a bottom, consolidative bottom. I just don't see how that correlates in SPY going to fucking zero or something, starting the new bear fucking bear shit or whatever. You're gonna get your faces ripped off, I assure you. Or at least what I'm looking at. TMT looks like it's going to fucking murder to the upside. You leave it down there long enough, you leave it down there for like the spring and the summertime, you murder all those fucking TMT stocks, and it's gonna be a fucking mess. So I don't think they carry the whole market personally. Anyways, S&P 500 looks like it's holding up right now. Netflix being taken to the dry cleaners. It's getting blasted now. Better to buy on lows. Here's your 1 month target right here. Hopefully you can get one more up here into Friday. It'd be nice to see one more. I would love to buy this shit. I got to start thinking about buying this shit. Like leaps. I just don't. The only thing that I can't think about here is the grind that's going to take place from now into summer. Like, you figure the next 3 or 4 months of grinding options. Oof, on like this reminds me of Tesla, man. It totally fucking does. It's like you watch your leaps just get annihilated for like months, and then all of a sudden it's gonna peek its head up and start fucking moving. And when it moves, it'll make you a fucking multi-millionaire. So we'll keep watching it. I'll see all of you guys tomorrow at 9:30 in the morning. You have the outlook for tomorrow. Here's SPY if you don't already have it. Or it's a 1 hour outlook. SPY is holding up just fine right now. Why isn't SPY crashing? I wish it would. I wish SPY would go down just a little bit more, like jackknife this shit down just a little bit more, open that door. It hasn't done that yet. Netflix getting taken to the woodshed right now. If you're trying to buy Netflix, I do like Netflix in the end of the week. I do see one more blast down over here on Friday in the next week. I'm assuming this is going to be some Trump shit. But start thinking about getting long here for March. This is the general area to be getting long. If you're not already long, it's a good place. We could always go up here and never come back. You get one shot here and another shot in here. Any of these would print by mid to late March. I'm still in calls right now. I've got call spreads that I have not turned in yet. I could have turned in them up here. I thought about it, and I was like, I'm going to leave them on. So they're still on for February. We do have an open door at 7,000 now. We can go higher. We can go trade 7,000. We can trade 708, 710 into February and March. I'm going to be looking to watch this market roll in that time period. It's something like this. I did give an outlook for the year to everybody, so you'll start seeing something like this over here. We'll probably take out that 640, and then we're out of here. You can see the nesting already taking place. If you don't know what nesting is, this is nesting. It's going to be a giant fucking move. You can see it up there, and we're going to rip some fucking faces off. And then we're going to come back down. We're going to rip some more. We're going to grind around. Then we're going to rip some more fucking faces off. This is called nesting right here. This is all nesting. I'll see you all tomorrow morning. I'll see you all. Don't be getting all too bearded up in here. We'll price in all this fucking Trump garbage and diarrhea and shit in here. I don't see any kind of risk off behavior. None of that stuff. Don't see any of it. It's right in there, just so you can see it. Right there. And you can see that big move higher into March. Right up there. Look, the high is not in my view. Only way the high is in is or we go risk off would be if weekly trigger and daily trigger cross. We get something like that, I would entertain that, but we're not there right now. It's a matter of just getting long in here. Get long, get long, get long.